The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Every week is a new low. Every week, we think it can't get any worse, and the Jets just keep digging. Postgame show starts now.
I'm gonna do my silly dance, cause we're built like shit. What kind of a question is that? We have the moral victories. My team has no wins. No wins.
0-7, baby. The New York Jets refuse to win a football game. And today they lose to a Panthers team that said, hey, you want to win, Jets? We'll give you a chance. And the Jets said, nope, we're good. We won't score a touchdown for the second straight game. You think about how inept this team is. The Jets have not actually scored an offensive touchdown that wasn't in garbage time since week 4 against the Miami Dolphins, when Fields on a broken play had that great scramble for a touchdown. That's the last time the Jets scored a touchdown that wasn't in garbage time. 2 straight games now without an offensive touchdown. The head coach finally benched the quarterback at halftime, and it did not matter. Now, Tyrod at least took chances. He at least tried to make some plays. But we know what he is. He's better than Justin Fields, though, that's for sure. Remember how ridiculous of a question Aaron Glenn thought it was a week ago in London when he was asked about potentially sitting down Justin Fields? What type of question is that? And then he did it 2 quarters later. This head coach has no clue. He's in over his head. He's once again a defensive coach who has no feel for offense. No feel, has no ability to say to Tanner Engstrand, hey, maybe we get Breece Hall lined up as a receiver for some plays here. You know, we don't have any wide receivers without Garrett Wilson. Gee, who could have predicted that? I'm at this game today. There's no separation. And even when guys maybe are open slightly, it doesn't matter. There's a protection breakdown. Fields holds on to it for too long. Tyrod short arms a pass. This team is so bad offensively. It's hard to even just grasp what we've been watching. And we've seen a lot of bad Jet teams, a lot of bad offenses. They stink, man. They are so bad. And it's even worse in person. To anyone who went there today, God bless. You should get your money back. I want to, before we really dive into this debacle of a defeat, I just want to thank everyone who came out to Lot E26 for our Asmaniac tailgate event. Amazing turnout. Everyone in the photo here, thank you. There were a bunch of people who were at the event who are not pictured here. But just know, to everyone who showed up to the tailgate or sat in our section 129, it was a great time despite the Jets being the Jets. As usual, everything is great until 1 o'clock. Once the game starts, the pain continues, and that's what happens. Special thank you to our guy, Beningo, Joe B., for coming by the tailgate. He'll be on with me tomorrow in his weekly spot at 10 a.m. If you're watching live right now, I just want to thank you for still caring about this team, allowing me to have a job where I get to talk about the only team in the NFL without a win day after day after day, year round. So thank you to everyone for that. Please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I want to mention this right at the start. We do have a watch party next week. It's going to be a party unlike any other. We will commiserate all together. Goldies Tavern, New York City. Free event. We have an awesome halftime raffle where you're going to have a chance to win a framed Breece Hall jersey, signed Wayne Cremette football, signed Kevin Mawai jersey, other prizes. Goldies is great. It's down the block from Penn Station, so it's easy to get to. Make sure you RSVP if you want a chance to be entered in the halftime raffle. The link to do so is in the description, and I just put it in the live chat. So I want to make sure I plug the watch party because win or lose, I promise we will have a blast, as we will have more fun than the Jets certainly will on the field next week. Party starts at 12:30. I get off the air from ESPN New York. At 12, I'll hustle over to Goldies, and then we will watch the game all together. We probably won't see a win, but we'll have fun commiserating. That is for sure. Look, I don't know how many things I could even add, right? Like, I was thinking about this on the depressing train to then subway, then walk back to my apartment here in Manhattan. This just feels completely rudderless. Now, the defense has shown up the last 2 games, finally. Maybe they've turned the corner. But really, it's not good enough. Not good enough. I understand that the Jets are missing Garrett Wilson, but they didn't play the 85 Bears defense today. Carolina allows a lot of points. To not be able to find the end zone, it's unbelievable. And I actually want to focus more on the big picture for this franchise because I don't know how many ways I could scream and yell and talk about how bad the Jets are. We all know that. I want to talk about the big picture because if you're Woody Johnson watching this pathetic offensive ineptitude again today, how are you going to allow this coach to oversee the development of the number 1 pick in the draft? How are you going to allow this regime to draft a quarterback and develop said quarterback? How? This is the same head coach who, after he moves on from Aaron Rodgers, he wanted to bring in Justin Fields and pay him $30 million guaranteed. This is the same head coach who felt like the Jets were totally fine going into the year without a wide receiver 2. We all knew if Garrett Wilson had to miss any time, they were screwed. We saw it today. We knew it. If fans know this, how do the coach and GM not know this? How? You're going to allow this regime to draft a quarterback first overall when the last 4 number 1 picks all had their coach fired either during their rookie season or right after it? Cam Ward and the Titans being the most recent example this past week. Really? If the Jets can't turn this around, and after watching today, it finally hit me, maybe they can. Maybe this coach is so in over his head. Maybe this team is just so bereft of talent on the outside and a quarterback who could function and get the football to anyone. Maybe they can't turn it around, no matter how well the defense might play, where they've allowed 13 points the last 2 games and have 0 wins to show for it. If they're sitting there with the number 1 pick, and right now the New York Jets are all by themselves, baby, with that number 1 spot, you have to be out of your mind if you're going to allow Aaron Glenn to oversee that selection. You can't do it. You might have to admit a mistake, Woody Johnson. Admit your mistake. Admit that you got duped into hiring this guy. And go get the best offensive coach that you could possibly get. And have that guy oversee the development of your quarterback. You watch other teams around the league, and it does not look like the New York Jets are playing the same sport, at least on offense. Once again, I'll give credit to the defense. They've shown up the last 2 games. Where are all the people telling me the Jets have no talent on defense? And Jake, you can't be critical. They have no talent. Nonsense. You see how stupid that is? If this defense actually showed up the first couple of games of the year, they wouldn't be winless right now. They got to stop against Pittsburgh. They got to stop against Tampa. They did anything against Miami. So on and so forth. Dallas, right? Driving down 10-3 before the half. Brees Hall fumbles. And then the Jets allow 2 touchdowns in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. So, yes, the defense has played well the last 2 games. You want a cookie? I'm not sitting here singing their praises. They get credit for the last 2 games. They were a joke at the beginning of the year and sunk the season. So please, miss me with Glenn has the defense looking good now. Cool. Too little, too late. But when you watch other teams on offense, the Jets don't play the same sport. So why would you allow this coach, this offensive coordinator, this coaching staff to take a quarterback first overall, whether it's Fernando Mendoza from Indiana or Dante Moore from Oregon or whoever, Ty Simpson from Alabama, whoever? Why would you allow them to do it? What have they shown you at all that they have the right, 1, decision to pick the best quarterback, and 2, then develop said quarterback? Aaron Glenn couldn't wait to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. And, oh, by the way, had Devontae Adams look today. Had to get rid of him too, of course. Then he brings in Justin Fields for $30 million. The guy has already been benched. What an investment, by the way. He's already now been benched, and we're supposed to trust Aaron Glenn's ability to coach up and evaluate a quarterback coming out of the draft? Why? Why? They just clearly missed on Justin Fields. Clearly. Their offense is an absolute joke. They have no plan. Last week, Aaron Glenn told you had no feel for the game by not benching Fields at any point. If he goes to Tyrod Taylor at any point in the second half, they win the game. So what do we have to show for allowing this staff to pick a quarterback? Nothing. You just lost to the Panthers at home. The Panthers at home just beat you. Remember a year ago, they were the biggest joke in sports? Remember that? Their worst owner ever? Well, their owner actually hired an offensive-minded coach who has made Bryce Young a little better, although he's not that good. I don't think if you're the Jets, you could afford to roll with another defensive coach learning on the job here for another offseason. And that's really all we're talking about at this point. Because the bottom line is this season has been done. They're not going anywhere. And the only thing we're looking to see is, can Glenn turn this around where it actually warrants a discussion whether or not to keep him. But right now, how is he not one and done? All right? How? Tell me why there's any argument to keep this head coach right now who's not an offensive guy. Dan Campbell's an offensive guy. Aaron Glenn is not. Don't tell me the Lions as the only, example you could point to. Aaron Glenn's not Dan Campbell. You think New England is really upset that they pulled the plug on Gerard Mayo right now? You think Robert Kraft is really upset that he fired Gerard Mayo? New England is thrilled they weren't patient with Gerard Mayo. Denver is thrilled they were not patient with Nathaniel Hackett. Jacksonville is thrilled they were not patient with Urban Meyer. You think Chicago's glad they were patient with Matt Eberflus, gave him another year to ruin Caleb Williams before they finally realized their mistake and got a real offensive coach in Ben Johnson? Tennessee's now going through it. I'm sorry. If you're this bad, you're not a good head coach. If the Jets end up with the number 1 pick in the draft, we are just delaying what is eventually going to happen, if not during the next season, right, at this time of year from now, or right after that season ends, right? If you're this bad with the talent the Jets do have, because they do have some talent, they shouldn't be 0-7 bad. They shouldn't be worst team in the league bad. If you were this bad at the end of your first season, you should not get a second season. You shouldn't. If you're bad enough to be picking 1-1 in the NFL draft, you do not deserve the opportunity to get a year 2. Let's not move the goalpost. This team has talent on it. There's not a single Jet fan on the planet that thought this year was going to be worst team in the NFL bad. That's where this team is headed right now. There's not a single Jet fan that went into the year and thought this team was not going to win more than 4 games. No way. So if they're bad enough to be picking first overall, this head coach and everyone associated has to go. They do not deserve a second year, not when it looks this bad. This is not the 2020 team with Adam Gase that, by the way, won 2 games. Is this Jets team going to win 2 games right now? I don't know. Who are they beating? Joe Flacco next week? No way. Cleveland at home? I mean, you see what they did to the Dolphins today, a team the Jets lost to? Where are the wins coming from? Maybe Miami at home late in the year when it's cold and Tua is going to be all turtle up. If it's even Tua at that point, is it Quinn Ewers or Zach Wilson in that game? Like, where are the wins coming from? If this team is sitting there with the number 1 pick in the draft, clean house. Admit your mistake, Woody. Admit your mistake and move on. Because you cannot, for the love of God, ruin this first pick in the draft. That's the only hope we have as Jet fans. That number 1 pick, turning it around as quickly as Houston did with Stroud and Jaden Daniels last year in Washington. You could turn it around if you get the quarterback and coach right. You got the coach wrong, seemingly. He's got 10 games to go. I don't know why anyone would think it's going to get that much better. Their best performance was week 1. Since week 2, they have not scored a touchdown in the first half of a game. They have not scored a touchdown unless they've been trailing by at least 14 points. So you cannot, under any circumstance, allow this head coach to come back for a second year if it ends up being as bad as it has continued to look. If you're sitting there number 1 overall in the draft, like you are right now, you don't let Aaron Glenn get a second year. He didn't deserve it. This team has talent on it. He's shown you no ability to evaluate the quarterback spot. Get rid of Aaron Rodgers for Justin Fields. Brilliant. Have no plan for Justin Fields. Last week, 0 designed runs for Fields. Oh, but Jake, Fields said that his legs weren't feeling great. Then why is he out there? The only thing Justin Fields could do that makes him decent at times is the threat of him to take off and run. If that's not there, he's worse than Zach Wilson in the pocket as a pure drop back quarterback. This is the guy you want evaluating all these quarterbacks coming out, making the right decision. And even if you make the right decision, you think Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are going to put together the right team for that quarterback. They couldn't even figure out they needed a number 2 wide receiver. They couldn't even figure that one out. They went into the year without one. They kept Allen Lazard. Why? Josh Reynolds is the big free agent signing for $3 million. And I'm supposed to trust these guys to not only pick the right quarterback, but then surround the right quarterback with the infrastructure they need to have any chance? Do we want to keep making the Sam Darnold mistake over and over again? You give Sam Darnold Adam Gase and a terrible roster. Gee, what do you think would happen? You could pick the right quarterback and still screw it up, as the Jets showed you with Darnold. Don't allow it to happen again. Mike McCarthy's out there. Hire him. Hire him. If Kevin Stefanski gets fired in Cleveland, hire him. If Cliff Kingsbury wants a second opportunity to be a head coach after, by the way, he did go to the playoffs in his first go-around and developed Kyler Murray and now is doing a great job with Jaden Daniels, hire him. There's coaches. The worst thing the Jets could do is double down on this administration if it continues to look this bad. And I have seen no evidence to feel like there's any scenario where it somehow gets better. I don't see it. I don't know how they salvage this. Look, once again, I hope I'm wrong, but I see a head coach who's the worst head coach I've ever watched. I see a head coach who has no feel for anything. He could tell us he wants to establish culture. The only thing he's establishing is that he's one of the worst coaches to ever do it in the franchise's history, which is saying something. And once again, Aaron Glenn was a great Jet, and that does not change regardless how he is as a coach. The player, great player. The coach, separate the two. Because it's in the best interest of the franchise to not move forward with this guy unless we see real improvement. And the wins cannot come in December when you're playing at New Orleans and then home against the Buffalo Bills or at Buffalo in their building when they're sitting all their starters. If this team finishes with 2 wins and they happen in week 16 and week 18, that's not good enough. The wins need to start happening now, not late in the year. It means nothing late in the year. Nothing. Wins in December don't mean a damn thing. Win games now. If you can't beat Carolina at home, who are you beating? You're not beating Cincinnati next week. Cleveland? I doubt it. At New England, short week, you think Mike Vrabel is not going to coach circles around Aaron Glenn? At Baltimore with Lamar back? No chance. Where are the wins coming from? Once again, if it's at New Orleans and at Buffalo when they sit starters, not good enough. Not good enough. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line were presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. I haven't even looked at what the line is for the Jets and the Bengals. Joe Flacco going to destroy the Jets. We all know it. Disgusting. Jets open as a 5.5-point underdog on FanDuel Sportsbook. Take the Bengals. Let's be honest. Joke. Absolute joke. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Our Asmaniac Raffle, a weekly raffle series we do every Tuesday where we give away signed items and other Jets prizes. That's coming up Tuesday a.m. We got 3 items this week up for grabs. Signed Joe Namath helmet, signed Wayne Corbett football, and a signed Jermaine Johnson jersey. So you can enter for your chance to win by sending in a $10 super chat or higher, or by gifting a channel membership. And a big thank you to Fanatics. They are our post-game sponsor today. They are allowing me to gift a Garrett Wilson rivalry jersey to a listener at the end of tonight's stream. So if you want to enter for the Wilson jersey, you're also automatically entered for your chance to win the 3 signed items, the Namath helmet, Corbett football, and JJ jersey during our show on Tuesday. Again, if you're just tuning in, I want to thank everyone who came out to our tailgate event today. A lot of fun. Thank you to Tailgate Joe and his amazing team for hosting us in E26. This fan base deserves more, man. And the building, by the way, I've been to a lot of Jet games in my life, but this was my first and only game I'll be at MetLife for this year. That was the worst environment for any Jet game I've ever been at, ever. Dead. I remember I went to a game, Zach Wilson's rookie year, in late December against the Jaguars, and it was a cold day, and the fans were into it, and it actually was loud. It was a gorgeous day today. Weather could not have been nicer for this time of year. Weather could not have been better for really all these home games. which is a total contrast to what we've experienced the last couple of years, where it felt like it always rained at every Jet home game. And the building was just dead. Apathy completely set in. A lot of people dressed up as empty seats for Halloween. Panthers fans, they don't really travel. So it was just a dead environment. Dead. And I don't blame any fan for that at all. So to sit there and get loud as we rewatch the same version of the Jets we've seen how many years now, where the defense is great and the offense teases you. They're in the game, hanging around. They do nothing. Terrible. Terrible. I'd say I feel bad for the defense, but you know what? They were so awful the first 5 games of the year. I don't feel that bad. Collectively, the Jets are just a disaster. And a couple other things from this game before we listen into the genius head coach here, right? And I will get to your super chats and all that. Aaron Glenn, again at the end of this half, choosing to run it out. Are you serious? After he said last week he should have thrown a Hail Mary, why did he just sit on the ball at the end of the first half again? Pathetic. Pathetic. Coaching scared. The ref literally went over to Aaron Glenn almost to say, hey, you're going to use a timeout here to throw a Hail Mary. And Glenn waved them off. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And he had no choice but to bench Fields at halftime. Tyrod, at least was more entertaining to watch than Fields. He at least will give his playmakers a chance to do something. By the way, I use the term playmaker very loosely. Because outside of Mason Taylor, there's nobody. Nobody. Forget Brees. They don't even use Brees as a receiver. Why? Bad coaching. That's why. Our quarterback coach is a former wide receiver. It's all bad. The coaching staff leaves a lot to be desired. The head coach doesn't have a clue about offense in the modern era. He cannot oversee the first pick in the draft. He can't. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Eric writes in, had a great time at the tailgate. At this point, I'm hoping for 0-17. I hate this. Eric, great to see you in person today, man. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I'm not rooting for losses yet. I can't do it. I got a watch party next week. But we're getting pretty close where it's in the best interest of losing. Because I'll tell you what, this is how sick in the head we are as Jet fans. If you guaranteed me 0-17 would get Aaron Glenn gone, am I supposed to sit here and not tell Jet fans that might not be the better deal? How can you move forward with this guy? How? NYJ says, you and every other Jet podcaster are an example of if you could survive New York, you'd survive anywhere. Man, I do this for a living, dude. Crazy. Crazy. I do Jets year-round, 4 hours of Jets talk a day. And all I want to see this team, forget the Super Bowl. I'm never going to see that in my lifetime. I want this team to just to not suck, be competent. The Giants seemingly are competent now. Other teams around the league, first-year coaches, New England now. Look at them. Jacksonville, Chicago. We see turnarounds in the NFL every year. Every year. I did afternoon radio in Houston for 6 years. The Texans went through 3 coaches in 3 years before they finally got it right with DeMeco Ryans and then drafted C.J. Stroud. If you're the Jets, all you want is your fan base to think they have a chance every year. We have not had a chance in years rooting for this football team. Years. Terrible. Terrible. I am posting the call-in link. I realize in my rage here, I never posted it. I had a pinned comment saying, hey, the show's starting late because I'm coming back from hell. Oh, and MetLife Stadium. But we'll get to your call coming up here. JJ says, by the way, is there a worse take in the history of this show than JJ saying Justin Fields will be in the Jets Ring of Honor? That is the Mona Lisa of horrific sports takes. I salute you, JJ. Don't waste number 1 pick on a quarterback. No generational QBs coming out. Get best player or trade out. Hire Cliff Kingsbury or Big Mike. Add Murray or Winston. No, not adding Jameis Winston or Kyler Murray. If you're this bad, you need a quarterback. Don't tell me there's generational quarterbacks. We use that term too loosely. If there's a guy you think could be damn good, you take him, develop him, put him in a position to succeed. Period. Michael says, Aaron Glenn really looked at Rodgers and Devontae and said, you two aren't good enough to play for me. The first move he said was to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, right? That's his prerogative. That's his right. The way it was handled, though, was a total joke and should have been more eye-opening for a lot of us. How that was handled. You don't even hear a Hall of Famer out. You don't even pick his brain. You just 20 seconds into the conversation say, you're done. Give me a break. And look, they can move on from Rodgers. That's fine. But they evaluated their options and said, let's give Justin Fields $30 million guaranteed, $40 million overall. It is a joke how bad this team is at doing something that in today's NFL, every team can do. Score points. The league is built to score points. And no team has been worse in the NFL in their last 15 years than the Jets. I mean, it's unbelievable. By the way, 7 straight game for the Jets without a first quarter touchdown. At least Adam Gase would score touchdowns on his opening drives. About the only thing he did right. What does Aaron Glenn do well, by the way? Can we name one thing Glenn does well? I mean, it's not win games. It's not actually hold players accountable, because if that was the case, why would Michael Clemens still be on this team? Why would Justin Fields not have been benched at any point last game? Countless other examples. Why would Isaiah Williams, who sucks and again looked terrible today, still be here on special teams? Look, I'll give Glenn this. The man knows how to dance. You know what? I just thought of something. He did win 2 challenges today. I'll be fair. Aaron Glenn was 2 for 2 on challenges today, so we have that. I'm told afterwards, Aaron Glenn went into the locker room and said, guys, we might be the only team in football without a win, but we did win 2 challenges. Hit the music. Joke. I can't do it anymore, man. Lou B in the house. Great seeing you today. I do my best to keep the fans having fun. Let's face it, it's all about the draft, trades, and replacing Glenn. It's Woody time. He must step in. Let me tell you something about Lou B real quick. So Lou B did a big tailgate event with my friends over at L5. And Lou, because he knew I was hosting my event in E26, which is nowhere near L5, he got someone from MetLife to pick me up on a golf cart so I could stop by and say hello to everyone there. So, Lou, shout out to you. Great party. Shout out to all the listeners I met who are at L5 today for the Jersey burn. Once again, these tailgates are the best part of the whole experience because the team gives you nothing. Lou, you're the man. Hang in there, my friend. As far as his comment, look, let me say this. I don't think Woody Johnson needs to do anything right now. He should not fire Aaron Glenn in season. If you're the Jets, you step aside and allow Glenn and Muji to do whatever they want to do. Let them get the year, and you evaluate at the end of the year. Because if you fire Glenn now, even though we all would be like, it's justified, look what we're watching. You fire him now, your perception is for the second year in a row, you're firing a coach in season. Why would anyone want to work for you? That's the perception. Even if we're actually watching these games and we see how bad it currently is and how in over his head the head coach looks. You don't fire him, though. Give him the year. He's a franchise legend. He's earned the opportunity to be a head coach. You hired him. He gets the year. You evaluate at the end of the year. If Gase didn't get fired in the middle of the season, you do not fire Aaron Glenn. Because then you have Sean Payton going on radio and doing his presser, dunking on the Jets. You have Dan Campbell coming out and taking shots at the Jets. Salah's going to be asked about it. You don't want all the bad PR that firing a franchise legend would be, even if you're 0-7. He's in his first year. Don't do it. If we get to the end of the year, and I'll be very clear, and the New York Jets are sitting there with the number 1 overall pick, then it's justified to fire him. And I don't care what anyone says. Woody would have every right to do it, and he should do it. But don't do it now. Firing Aaron Glenn now does nothing. If he's this inept, let him be this inept all the way through so we can get the number 1 pick in the draft. Maybe they win a game and we don't have the embarrassment of being the first team to ever start 0-17. Maybe they're 1-16. But you do not fire the coach now. It doesn't do you any good. And who's going to be the coach? Steve Wilkes? No point in firing the head coach now. Give him the year. Do I think things are going to turn around? Absolutely not. But give him the year. So that way people can't say, oh, you pulled the plug. You're a ridiculous organization. How could you do that now? No. Let them get the year. The results speak for itself. They're the only team in the NFL without a win right now. Give them the damn year. But if they're sitting there at the end of the year without a win or 1 win or 2 wins, see ya. There's no way I'm letting Aaron Glenn be a part of the first pick in the draft with the quarterback. No chance. Do not, under any circumstance, allow that man to do it. If you're tuning in, we are giving away a Garrett Wilson rivalry jersey. Thanks to Fanatics for that. So super chats that qualify, we'll cut the line and we'll get you in the raffle. $10 or higher. $10 gets you 2 tickets. 20 gets you 5. 50 gets you 10. 100 gets you 20. Plus, you can gift memberships to our great community as well if you want to enter that way. Chris Parker, I'm not going to read your super chat. That's a weird one. Jesse writes in, makes me sick to my stomach doing mock drafts in the middle of October. Fire Glenn, cut fat, and maybe trade the first pick. Build the right way. This sucks. Jesse, if you're picking number 1 overall, you're taking a quarterback. And when we say build the right way, you have 2 bookend tackles. You have Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald. You have some of the pieces that you're talking about building it the right way. They're just poorly coached. You have some cornerstone pieces. You have an all-pro corner. You have a legitimate number 1 receiver. They need a quarterback, but they need a head coach who could develop said quarterback. So if they're this bad and they're picking number 1 overall, that's why you don't keep Glenn around. Kyle Clifton checks in. Jake, great tailgate. Great job by Tailgate Joe. That KD to Luppy and his bro for the rounds. Great experience, great time, terrible team. Kyle, great to hang out with you and your crew you brought today. Let me tell you guys a great Kyle Clifton story. Clifton walks into the tailgate today, right? And everyone's yelling, outside, outside, guessing where he's calling from. That was a very funny moment. Les says, we're built for this. We're the freaking Jets. I think this is what Aaron Glenn actually meant to say during that introductory press conference.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
You're damn right you are. Spencer Green says, love you, Jake. Love you, AG. Love the Jets. Got to be better. You still blindly defending Aaron Glenn? Spencer? Because I don't know how you can do it anymore, man. I love your positive vibes, so you try, but good God. Watching this in person, let me say this too. If you're a Jets season ticket holder, God bless you. I don't know how you do this every week. I don't know how you do it. I mean, I sat there. It was a depressing vibe. And then the Jets just blast like the EDM music the whole time to try and drown out the groans from the crowd. They don't even do the Jet chant right. And at one point, late in the game, when the Jet defense is trying to get the ball back to the offense to give them one more chance to drive, the Jets tried to play the scene from Miracle where Herb Brooks is giving the speech to the U.S. team before they play the Soviets. And they screwed that one up. They had the ref talking over it, and then it cuts back to Herb Brooks at the end of his speech, and it sounded terrible. They couldn't even execute that right. And I haven't played Glenn's presser, but I'm told that we missed the beginning of it because the feed cut out at the beginning when Glenn gave updates on some of the injured guys. I'm going to play the presser coming up here. I just want to get through some super chats, and then I promise we will take your calls. We got 1,500 of you watching live, which is crazy because I didn't get to go live till 2 hours after the game ended. So thank you for that. Please like the video, subscribe over here. You guys could check out for the Jets for the year. I can't. I make my living doing it. So if you guys could subscribe and help the channel, it goes a long way. Let's see. This one's from Julian, who writes in, are we going 0-17? Feels like no hope looking at the schedule. I still maintain that they're going to win a game or two. I think if the Adam Gase team can win 2, this team with far more talent can definitely win a game or so. I got to admit, though, Julian, watching this today, this was the first time where I thought, maybe they actually will go winless. It's at least on the table now. I have to admit, I did have that thought sitting there in a depressed state watching this game today. I think Nate got this photo of me just watching this bleep show. Just standing there. That was the look I had just watching this. It's just depressing watching this team, man. Truly. Truly depressing. Unbelievable. Craig says, amazed AG didn't snap at Kaz again. Clueless. Oh, how dare you ask me if I am considering benching my quarterback after he had -10 net passing yards. 2 quarters later, what did Aaron Glenn decide to do? Oh, he sat down Justin Fields? Gee, I wonder why. Dick Chimney in the house. On offense, it looks like we're playing with less players in the defense. Someone turned the difficulty down from all Madden to rookie mode. Brutal. Brutal. That's what it looks like. It looks like the Jets play a different sport on offense. Thank you, Jake, for this amazing channel. Hope we can let Garrett Wilson go and all our young studs. It's sad. Knicks, please save us. I don't want to let any of these guys go. I want to give them a chance to actually win, but they wasted these guys. Brees is a goner. They wasted him. And honestly, I was like, should they trade Brees? At this point, they don't even use Brees the way I was promised that by Aaron Glenn they were going to use him. Remember that? Aaron Glenn this summer basically told anyone who would listen, we're going to use Brees Hall the way he should be used. Remember this, AG? What happened to this?
That's where we're going to open your game up this whole year. You know what I'm saying? Not just running the ball, but being able to do something like that. You dig what I'm saying? That's where your game going to open up, bro. Because there's a mismatch. Take you on anybody out there, any safety or linebacker. There we go. All good.
Brees Hall today. 3 targets. This coach has no clue. He doesn't know his ass from his chin, if we're being honest. How could you listen to that? Right? And we wanted to believe in Glenn because he was a Jet. He wanted the job. All that is great. And I'm certainly rooting for him and still am, even though I think it's very unlikely this ever gets better. But they knew they didn't have Garrett Wilson today. Was Brees Hall lined up once for a pass? Like he was obviously on that play in training camp where they lined him out and he caught a touchdown. That's what the Jets don't show it, but that's what happened on that play. That's what Glenn is talking to him about in that training camp cut I've saved and played. The guy is a terrible head coach. Terrible. And if you could say, well, at least the defense played well. The problem is he said himself he's the head coach. He's not a defensive coach. He's the CEO of the whole team. The clock management is horrific. The last 4 minutes of each half belong to the coach, according to Aaron Glenn. They suck in the last 4 minutes of each half. Anyone want to cover the Carolina Panthers on the screen at the end there? End of the first half just gifted them points before halftime. So, yeah, the defense played well today. And I'm not going to kill them because you give up 13 points, you should win. But Aaron Glenn being a defensive guy and the defense playing 2 good games in their first 7 is not enough to save them. If they are sitting there with 2 wins or less and they have the number 1 pick in the draft, he's got to go. One and done. See ya. Thank you for being a great Jet. You're not a great head coach, though, and we can't keep doing this. It will never change if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. It won't. Bino says 7 weeks enough to know this guy's a clown. I can't say you're wrong for feeling that way. Zahara says, are we admitting Muji should not be picking? Muji works for Aaron Glenn. Woody Johnson referred to Darren Muji as Glenn's sidekick at the introductory press conference. Look, the Jets rookie class is not terrible. Membu's good. Taylor looks like a player. I thought, can we play AZ Thomas more? We might have to if Sauce has a concussion this week and can't be out there against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Good Lord. But every time AZ Thomas gets a chance, he doesn't look terrible. It's not enough to save this head coach when your offense is this inept, though. It's not. You need a real offensive coach if you're picking first overall. That's my point. Like, these things are nice to point to, but if you're this bad with talent that we all agreed was not worse than the NFL bad, you can't continue with this guy. You cannot do it. You cannot allow this guy to draft the number 1 pick in the draft. You cannot do it. Look at these other teams that have made this mistake. The Jets have done it too. Stop. Admit you blew it. Admit it. It's okay. I don't think it's about money with Woody. He has plenty of money. He just spent $250 million to buy a soccer team. He's got money. It's ego. Will he admit at the end of the year, if this doesn't turn around, we got it wrong. I'm not going to double down on my mistake. I'm going to acknowledge it and get a legitimate, proven head coach that comes from an offensive background, whether that's McCarthy, Stefanski, whether that be Kingsbury, whether that be Gruden, it cannot be Glenn with a rookie quarterback next year. You have no chance. None. At least Brian Dable is an offensive guy, right? Look what he's doing with Dart. That matters. You have to get the right coach for the quarterback. And this team's taking the quarterback because they're this bad. That's what you do. They're rudderless right now. Fields is not the answer. Tyrod's 36. We know what he is. We're going to see Brady Cook start games before the year's over. And you know what? He should. I'd rather watch Brady Cook stink than Fields. Big fella, even though we lost, I'm thankful to meet all the great people at MetLife today. You are all awesome. Love talking to all of you. Thank you for a great day despite our football team. Big fella, great to watch the game with you, my friend. God, this team sucks. Bang Mateo, if you want Mendoza, then don't root for wins. Enough. I don't know who I want yet. It's October. I do know this. If this team's sitting there first overall, they're going to take a quarterback. And I have no faith in them picking the right quarterback and then developing said quarterback. None. Rex Ryan's watching. Fire Glenn, bring in Mike McCarthy. Oh, wait, Woody doesn't like hiring coaches who won't do everything he wants them to do. Mike Perez says, going for it instead of a field goal and putting Taylor in with zero plan. Call McCarthy or Kingsbury, end of the season. Amen. Amen. I don't know how anyone doesn't think you're a better team if you do that. This franchise was too good to even interview Mike McCarthy this past hiring cycle. Why? Because he, much like Mike Tomlin, would have said, wait a second, let's keep Aaron Rodgers for another year, draft the quarterback, have that guy learn from Aaron. I witnessed it when I coached him, when Brett Favre was there and Aaron was behind him. And let's win games, build our culture that way, because contrary to what Aaron Glenn wants to peddle at these press conferences, you can't build culture when you lose every week. You can't. When it looks like this, you're not building culture. You're not. Mr. HNIC. Giving Fields $30 million is a fireable offense in itself. Steelers were 4-2 last year and bench Fields. That should have told them all they needed to know. Yeah, and who said that on this very show and got so much crap from the Aaron Rodgers derangement people who wanted to blame Aaron for everything that went wrong with this franchise, everything last year. Was he great? No. Was he competent more times than not? Absolutely. Is he playing exactly the same in Pittsburgh this year as he did for a lot of last year? Yeah, but he has a real head coach. Or that culture, what Pittsburgh does every year, never having a losing year despite having Mason Rudolph and all these other bad quarterbacks since Roethlisberger retired. That's what culture is. Big fella. Gibson was better than Isaiah Williams. Sad, but he might have been. J-Boy, you lose to the Panthers where Young got pulled before half. AG has earned every L. Love you, Jake. J-Boy, thank you, man. Team Curry in the house. He was there today. Thank you, Jake, Nick, and every Asmaniac for signing my paper bag. This team sucks. That was actually very funny. Team Curry brought a paper bag and had everyone at our tailgate sign it. He's going to frame it. That's the state of this pathetic franchise. This team sucks, but we as a fan base are freaking awesome. I met the great Nate and sat next to a different Nate. That was great. I mean, the turnout today, again, I know I'm disgusted right now. I can't say enough how much I appreciate every person in this community. You know, I think we're approaching 43,000 subscribers. You know, like other teams around the league that they're content creators. They get to cover a fun season every once in a while. It's my 5th year doing this. The Jets have not won more than 7 games in any year I've been doing this. And they're not going to come close to that this year. I'm at 42,904 subscribers right now. We'll hit 43 this week. Just thank you. Again, thank you to everyone who supports the show. You know, we're in this together. We'll have a fun watch party next week where the Jets won't win, but we'll have fun. People will win prizes at halftime. We'll drink beer. You get a free beer if you show up wearing Jets or Asmaniac gear. We'll have a good time. Black Gypsy's in the raffle for one. Thanks to Fanatics, we're going to give away a Garrett Wilson rivalry jersey at the end here. So thank you, Black Gypsy. Bucks Fanatic checks in. Wow, $50 super chat from a guy who's not even a damn Jet fan. Love it. Hey, Jake, I forgot to let you know my helmet came in. Thank you. Best show on YouTube, hands down. You may have answered this already, but at the end of the first half, when the Jets had a timeout, did Aaron forget he had a timeout left? I think what happened was, Bucks Fanatic, is he just wanted to go into the halftime and give up. He said after the game, and I'll play the presser coming up here because I haven't played it yet. I'm just so pissed off. I need to vent myself right now. He said after the game, essentially, that the reasoning for that was they had just taken 2 sacks on the previous play, and he just wanted to go into halftime. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Throw a Hail Mary. I just watched 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers be able to execute it. 26-year-old Justin Fields can't run around, buy some time, and throw the ball into the end zone and just give someone a chance. But the head coach is coaching scared because he's a loser. He was supposed to change that loser mentality. He encapsulates it. And once again, when I say Glenn's a loser, I mean he's coaching like a loser. Obviously, you know, I don't want to disrespect a franchise legend, but I'm sorry. How he's coaching is a loser's mentality. Joke. Robin says, number 5, the only playmaker on offense, not enough. Well, I mean, it'd be nice if they found ways to get the ball to Brees, but that's asking too much. By the way, I'm out on Engstrand too. Out on. We tried to be nice about it. But you know what? We tried to focus on Engstrand being better than maybe we expected because of how bad Wilkes and the defense, how bad they were. Let's call it for what it is. Time to update this graphic because nothing changed. The Jets still have not scored an offensive touchdown since week 1 until they've fallen behind by 2 touchdowns. The last time they scored a touchdown that was not technically in garbage time was the Monday night game against the Dolphins when Fields had that scramble on a broken play. Engstrand had nothing to do with that, and they were losing 17-3 at the time. I mean, they've allowed 13 points defensively the last 2 games and have 0 wins to show for it. They're inept. You want this head coach to oversee your quarterback selection next year? You want him to try and pick the right quarterback and put him in positions to have success? He has no idea what the modern NFL offense is. None. Maybe there's a reason Dan Campbell allowed Tanner Engstrand to go with Aaron Glenn to Detroit. We ever think about that? He didn't promote Engstrand when Ben Johnson left. He brought in John Morton, who used to be the Jet OC, by the way, the McCown year. The last time we had like a competent offense that actually didn't embarrass us every week. Maybe we should talk about that. Dan Campbell's this great coach, right? I mean, he let Tanner Engstrand go. He could have protected him. I'm out on Glenn. Engstrand could go too. Because your head coach, when you're a head coach, you're a problem solver. Right? That's your job. You're the CEO of the whole team. And Glenn doesn't call plays on offense or defense. So his job is to help the team do whatever is necessary to win on that given day. He failed last week by not recognizing the moment with his quarterback, let alone not knowing how long the field goal was for Nick Folk to attempt at the end of the game, saying it's 65 or 68 yards. So he goes for it on 4th and 8 when it was 61 yards, and Nick Folk hit from 58 2 weeks ago. Situationally, he's failed. Identifying the quarterback, failed. Fields is his guy. Remember Aaron Glenn was puffing his chest all offseason? Oh, well, we're going to let Fields play quarterback. He hasn't been coached properly. That's what he said. Taking shots at the Steelers staff, the Bears staff. Fields has never been coached properly. That's the word of the head coach. So he says that. Fields looks like this, and I'm supposed to allow him to now pick Fernando Mendoza first overall and ruin him? No fucking chance. Excuse my language. Am I allowing this head coach to get that opportunity? No way. None. Barbarossa, I see your super chat. I can't read it, but thanks for watching. Sean says, nothing positive to say. This sucks. Hey, they won 2 challenges today. Incel Allen says, Charles made a wise decision. He's a phony too. Giuseppe in the raffle for 2. Thank you. Wrong verb. Do you trust AG with trading away our assets? I don't trust AG to do anything. I don't. The only players I would allow him to trade away are anyone that's in their walk year. The idea that we'd let him consider a Quinnen trade or if they trade Jermaine, that's a whole nother problem. Do not. But like, no, don't let him. You could trade away Quincy. He's a free agent. You could trade away Michael Carter. He's not a free agent, but you could cut him for not a whole lot of like dead cap. Like you save cap if you move on. Like that stuff is fine. Brees even like they don't use him, so might as well get a 5th rounder for him at this point. I don't know. But no, I don't want him trading away our assets. No. Jetstream says, thank you for bringing up Cook, albeit in the preseason. Cook, at least he could throw people open and read defenses. I just want something worth watching. He's going to play at some point because you'll get to that point of the year where either Tyrod will get hurt or the season will be so lost. It's Brady Cook. Let's see what he can do. This will be one of those years where they have 3 quarterbacks that start for them. We've all seen those years before. We know them. You're a longtime Jet fan. You remember 05. You remember 07. You remember the ridiculousness of the 2022 season a few years ago. 2023, you had 4 different quarterbacks technically start, if you count Rodgers 4 plays. 2020, you had at least 2, right? Darnold and Flacco was our 3rd. Maybe it was only 2. I don't know, but we all know where this is going. Dark Knight Steve in the house. I wanted to win so bad for the Asmaniacs at MetLife today. I tried to help by betting against the Jets. I unfortunately won. Here are some memberships. Wow, Dark Knight Steve paying it forward for the community. A 20 spot. Dark Knight Steve. Hit the Aaron Glenn.
I'm gonna do my silly dance, cause we're built like shit. What kind of a question is that? We have the moral victories. My team has no wins. No wins.
Yeah, baby. 0-7, no wins for luck.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
Hey, we won 2 challenges today, though. Hit it, AG. Thank you very much, Dark Knight Steve. I hope you're doing well health-wise, you and your family. Great to see you and your bro in Tampa. Here's a positive for Dark Knight Steve. I was in London with Dark Knight Steve last year. That was a debacle. I'm glad that we didn't have to watch this year's London debacle in person. And that flight back. Oh. Wow, Bernard Nixon's in the house. He writes in, hang in there, Jake. Love you, man. Hey, B-Mac, you should call in sometime, man. We have a new open for you whenever you do.
B-Mac, look at my new hat. B-Mac, I'm a Steelers fan now. Women hate my dude face. Now I'm such a fraud. I'd eat Rodgers' poop right from the source before he wipes.
Thank you, B-Mac. All right, let's listen in to Aaron Glenn. I haven't heard the full presser. I saw a couple quotes from some of the beat guys. We'll listen to this, then get right to your calls. Reminder, end of the show, we are going to give away, thanks to Fanatics, a Garrett Wilson rivalry jersey. God, do they miss Garrett Wilson today? Who could have saw that coming? It's almost like going into the year with Josh Reynolds and Allen Lazard and a fourth-round pick who everyone said was a developmental guy as your only receivers was not the wisest use of resources, huh? Could have saw that one. All right, here's Aaron Glenn. We don't get the full presser because the Jets stream cut out at the beginning, so we did an injury update. I think he said Jay Tafili banged up. They don't know his status, and Sauce has a concussion, so he's in the protocol, so I doubt we see Sauce Gardner play this upcoming week. So that's where the presser got cut off. And then here's the rest of the presser from the head coach, who still has not won a football game.
Fairly well. Obviously not enough to give ourselves a chance to win. Yeah, those guys made 2 great plays on interceptions. And I guess the tough thing about that is, man, you rather have where either we catch it as a DPI or it's incomplete. And that has to be the mindset of us on offense to where we're not giving up interceptions. So, but they happen. Got to give those guys credit. They made some plays. But we have to be able to pull out, these low-scoring games. The thing is, our guys are fighting. There's no quitting any of our guys. So I give those guys a lot of credit. But, again, we have to go back to work next week.
Can you talk about some of the issues with pass protection? They were not a big sack team coming in, and I think they equaled.
Well, again, I have to go back and look at it, but it seemed like we lost a good bit of one-on-ones, and that can happen in those situations. And I guess it's obvious. Teams are going to try to pressure us, and we have to do a better job in those situations. So, again, we have to look at the tape, see exactly what the issues are, go back to work next week and try to fix those.
Why did you decide to go for it on the 4th and 5? I think that was the first series.
Yeah, listen, I liked our 4th down plan, and I told our guys we was going to be aggressive going forward in that situation. Obviously, it didn't work out, but, yeah, I liked our 4th down plan going into this game.
It didn't seem like Brees was playing much in the 4th quarter. What went into that?
Well, Brees had an injury, but he came back, and he tried to give us everything he had. So kudos to him for doing that. I thought early on that he was running the ball fairly well, and those guys did a good job of tightening up against the run. He's the guy that we need to lean on. We have to use him as much as possible.
At the end of the half, it looked like you had time to maybe run a cycle half.
Real quick on that. That's such BS from the head coach there. Or it just tells me once again he has no clue about offense or how to actually be a head coach and go to Tanner Angstra and say, hey, man, where's Brees Hall as a receiver? Why is that not in our game plan? Hey, can we design some plays for Brees? If Garrett Wilson is not out there, who else is capable of making any play in open space, winning a one-on-one? On occasion, maybe Josh Reynolds. That's it. Joke. Don't tell me that you need to get the ball to Brees a lot and then he got targeted 3 times as a receiver when his superpower, according to you, is that he can be an outstanding pass catcher. Just played you the clip from this summer at training camp that the Jets themselves released. Joke.
There, and you just look at the
Guys, it was a situation where we just got 2 sacks. Let's get out of it. Get into halftime. And let's get ready to play the next half.
Whoever you do decide to play at quarterback, what do you need to see from this passing game?
We got to improve. We have to improve in this situation, because now, you see what they're doing against the run. They're loading the box against the run. Sometimes they're putting, 9 people in the box. So, in order to loosen guys up, you have to be efficient to some degree in the passing game, and that hasn't showed up the last two games. And that's something I have to take a look at that. And I'm going to put a lot of fault on me. You know, as the head coach of this team, I have to make sure that we do whatever we have to do to get our passion lane going.
You had been so strident in your support of Justin Fields, despite all the criticism in recent weeks.
Yeah.
So for you to take him out, how disappointing is that for you? That
It's always a tough situation. It's always a tough decision. But as the head coach, you have to take a look at the team and see what is best for you to put yourself in position to go win a game. And that's the only thing that was going to my mind when I was walking in. And I told the offensive staff. Then I went and I told Justin and Tyrod exactly what I was going to do, and made the decision.
Have you thought about maybe doing that last week, and then you'd have a win? I mean, last week it was such a ridiculous question, according to Aaron Glenn. Remember he snapped at Costello? What type of question is that? Well, now he benches him after 2 more quarters from that moment. Okay, I'll play along. He really has a feel for offense, folks. Let's let this guy draft the quarterback number 1 overall.
The season unfolds and you're not getting the game results that you want. Are you getting concerned that the players will have a more difficult time embracing your message on a weekly basis?
You know what? I don't see that because the message has always been consistent, and they know exactly what it is and what we have to do. And here's what gives me hope as I go through these weeks is, man, just exactly how they come out on Wednesday in practice and then how they come out on Thursday in practice. Same with on Friday. And listen, we're not getting the results that we want, but I do know this. These players are not giving up at all. I don't see them giving up on any of the messaging at all. We just have to do what we have to do to go win these games. You know, we need some guys to go make some plays in these situations. And then me as the head coach, I got to do a better job of getting everybody, you know, in position to go make plays. Again, I thought our defense is starting to improve in that aspect. We just got to get our offense going. Our special teams are doing a good job, too.
AG, was Garrett at all close today, or that was a no-go for this?
You know what? It was close as we went through the week. And then the thing is, I think you said it before, you have to protect him from himself, you know. So it just wasn't a good decision to put him out there at this time.
Aaron, what did you think of the offensive? What did you think of the offensive play calling the last 2 games?
You know, that's a good question. You know, the thing is, you have to look at the situation in the games, and I know a lot of people will go into that, you know, because they want to point fingers somewhere, you know, but that's not what we're going to do at all. I mean, it goes both ways, and it goes with I say 3 ways: me, Tanner, and our players, and we all have to figure out what we have to do to make some plays.
Take a couple more.
What does the process look like over the next few days to decide your quarterback against Cincinnati? Who's involved in that process?
Well, ultimately, I'll make the call. But there's a lot of conversation I got to have with myself, you know, to see what can I do to make sure that we give us a chance to win. And then obviously I'm going to, you know, talk to the offensive staff and see what their thoughts are also. But we'll make the right decision. Whatever the decision is, you know, I'm going to go with it, and we're going to move forward.
Do you feel like if you do go to Tyrod, that's like you can't go back to Justin's situation here? I mean, you mentioned earlier in the week, I don't want him looking over his shoulder.
No doubt. I mean, that's always the question that's always asked, and that's always something that you have to really look at. And like, I don't ever think that's something that you could just positively say that, you know, if we go with another guy, that you can never go back to the other guy. I mean, this is the NFL, and you know, it's the ebbs and flows of how things go. To me, I'm trying to put the guy out there that's going to give us the best chance to win, whoever that may be. Yeah, at that specific time, that's what I'm going to do.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
In the room.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron. Great job today. In over his head. My favorite moment from the press conference. Not this. Let me pull it up. I saved the screenshot here because Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic quote tweeted it. Aaron Glenn on if he's concerned about his message not getting through as they keep losing. Here's what gives me hope. How they come out on Wednesday in practice and Thursday and Friday. We're not getting the results we want, but these players aren't giving up at all. Let me repeat something I've said for years on this show. No team is better Wednesday through Friday than the New York Jets. And this loser head coach just embodied that with that pathetic answer because he has no answers. He has no plan. He's the only team in the league that hasn't been able to win a game. The Titans, who fired their coach already, have won a football game. The Dolphins, who don't look like an NFL team, they have a win. Oh, it's against the New York Jets. The Jets are a dynasty at practice. It's a shame they don't televise practice. Woody, if you want to make some money, televise the Jets practices. All right, I'd pay to watch it because clearly no team is better at practicing than the Jets. Like, it's unbelievable how good they are at it. We have never seen a team practice as well as the Jets. I heard Aaron Glenn reference this. Jeff Ulbrich mentioned this. Robert Saleh mentioned this. Adam Gase mentioned this. Todd Bowles mentioned this. Rex Ryan at the end of his time mentioned it. I cannot believe how good the Jets are at practicing. It's amazing. I have never seen a team so good at practicing than the Jets. Now, I have a theory as to why they're so good at practicing Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Because they practice against the Jets. Joke. Best practice team to ever do it. We are a dynasty at practice. We are the Patriots of practicing. The Brady Belichick Patriots of practicing. The Mahomes Reed of practicing. We're the 90s Cowboys, the 80s Niners, the Lombardi 60s Packers at practicing. There's no team better at it than the New York Jets. No team. Other teams try. They don't practice as well as the Jets, though. Now, no chance. That's got to mean something, right? Hit it, Aaron Glenn. Look, you got to I tip my cap. You got to respect it. It's unbelievable. Honestly, the 70s Steelers, the 80s Niners, 90s Cowboys, the Patriots, the Chiefs dynasties, they don't hold a candle to the Jets Wednesday through Friday. They don't. Other teams think they do. They're lying to you. Islip Jet fan writes in, Jake, what have I done to deserve this? $2,400 for tickets, $200 in parking passes, $300 in food. I feel for you, Islip. I really do. Once again, I'm never going to tell anyone how to fan. If you're a season ticket holder and you want to go to the game and you like going to the tailgates, I get all that. I was actually depressed watching this team today because it felt completely hopeless. They don't play the same sport on offense as other teams do. They don't. I get it. They didn't have Garrett Wilson. They haven't scored a touchdown in 2 weeks. They had Garrett Wilson last week. They didn't score a touchdown. And the Jets are the only team that has this problem for this long. As bad as the Giants have been, they accidentally went to the playoffs a few years ago with Daniel Jones, who now, by the way, might be a good quarterback. But you get my point. Like, they're awful stretch since their last championship in 2011. They had 2 playoff years thrown in there. 2016 at the end of Eli's tenure and with Daniel Jones a few years ago, right? That happened. The Browns, they're a mess. They've made the playoffs 2 times the last 5 years. There is no franchise in sports that is worse than the Jets right now. So I don't know how season ticket holders do it. And like, if you're Woody Johnson, how can you allow this coach to make the investment that could set this team back even further if you miss on this pick in the draft in April? And if people are like, why is he talking about this so much? Because that's the only thing that matters now. The season's cooked. There's no hope. The only thing that matters is Glenn here for that pick? Because if he is, we're screwed. Barring a great turnaround with 10 games to go. Does anyone think that's coming? Oh, but Jake, Dan Campbell was 0-10-1 to start his career. Great. Let's use historic outliers as things to cling on to. By the way, Dan Campbell's team in 2021, talent-wise, nowhere near the level of talent that the Jets currently have. And I'm not sitting here trying to tell you this is a great roster. It's not. But there's good players on this team. All of a sudden, the defense is playing well. Where are the people who told me the Jets defense couldn't play well this year because they didn't have enough talent? Where are those people? Where are they? They have good players. Shouldn't be the worst team in the NFL. And that's what they are right now. J-Mo writes, and I kind of feel hopeless no matter what happens. Glenn's got to go, but every retread coach people mention as replacements fills me with no confidence whatsoever. Well, I'll tell you what, J-Mail. Is Kevin Stefanski that much of a retread? If he got fired, he's won Coach of the Year twice. Went to the playoffs twice in Cleveland. If you go to the playoffs in Cleveland, you can handle the New York Jets. Is Mike McCarthy that much of a retread? I don't know. When Dak Prescott was healthy, he won 12 games every year he was there. If you could work for Jerry Jones, you could handle the Jets and Woody Johnson. Is that a retread? Cliff Kingsbury, is that a retread? I mean, yeah, didn't go great overall in his first stint as a head coach. Made the playoffs one of those years. Developed Kyler Murray, proven offensive guy. Is he not an upgrade over anything we've seen? I mean, we could say retread, but you know what? We're in hell right now. If the retread gets us out of hell and at least we're average, right? But maybe that's not the guy that ever take us where we want to go, but can develop that quarterback, can take Fernando Mendoza first overall and put him in a spot where he's playing like a legit franchise guy, and then we get our next head coach to take us over the top. We find our Harbaugh for Herbert, right? We find our guy to take the next step, then I'll worry about that down the line. The Jets have to get out of hell, Ertz core, however you want to describe it. We can't think about like, oh, well, there's never been a head coach who's won 2 Super Bowls with 2 different teams. Who cares? We can't think Super Bowl right now. Get out of hell. You're in hell. You got to get out from that. Glenn is just sinking it even further. Knob in the house. My favorite part of today, among some of the things that were great at the tailgate, was Knobcraft also goes by the alias Mr. Gorilla Salad. And when he showed up at the tailgate, I screamed out, Mr. Gorilla Salad! And I got a nice little crowd pop for that one. This team gets progressively worse every week. It's only a matter of time before the state of New Jersey puts in an Amber Alert on the Jets the way they get dragged through games. I mean, they look like they are playing a different sport when it comes to offense. It really does. Dick Chimney in the house. Why so much go to the tape? Does he know what's happening while the game's going on? He isn't play calling, so he should be able to know. That's what coaches say when they don't have an answer. Got to look at the tape because they don't know. Jetstream, flip-flop Glenn. No team, no coach has moved the goalpost more than this one. We're here to win now. We're built for this shit. The last 4 minutes of each half belong to the coach. Then he's telling us big ships take a while to turn. Everyone wants instant coffee. Everyone wants the Super Bowl. Stop it. You know what we wanted as Jet fans? To quote you, Aaron Glenn, a team we were proud to watch. Not a laughing stock. The Jets were a laughing stock because it failed with Aaron Rodgers and everything that went with that. Then they jettison Aaron Rodgers. He goes to a team where, of course, he's 4-2 playing well. And now the Jets are looked at like the biggest clown show in sports. He was supposed to change all that. He's made it worse. Everyone watched him crap himself when it came to clock management and not having a feel for the game in London last week in a nationally televised game. Then they follow that up today by not scoring an offensive touchdown for the second straight week. In 2025, it's the NFL. You can accidentally score points in this league. That's how the rules are built. Michael says it's always raised an eyebrow for me when no Lions players follow Glenn. Keep up the great work. That's another thing, too. The Glenn defenders, the Glenn truthers, he's got to get his own people in here. He didn't want his own people in here. Did he sign any Lions with him this offseason? No, we signed Josh Reynolds, who played there 2 years ago on the other side of the ball. Where are his guys? But Jake, he needs to get his guys in there. He chose to keep a lot of these guys that are on the current team. He wanted to re-sign Jamie and Sherwood. He wanted to extend Sauce. He wanted to keep Isaiah Oliver. He wanted to keep Tony Adams. He brought these guys back. He wanted to keep Michael Clemens, who got a raise based on playing time last year. They could have cut him and saved money. They wanted him back. He got his guys. He came in thinking that he could take this team that did have talent on it, as we all acknowledged, and could coach them up because they were horribly coached last year. And he's made it worse because he's not as good as Saleh or Obrick even. Like, it's a legit debate who's worse, Glenn or Obrick. And I thought Obrick was the worst I've ever seen because Gase was better than Obrick. You give Adam Gase last year's team, he wins more than the 3 games Obrick won in his. Well, Jeff Obrick won 3 games after Saleh started 2-3. So Obrick got 12 games. He won 3 of them. So it was 3-9. You give Gase that team last year, he wins more games. You give Glenn that team last year, they're even worse. PFP in the raffle for 5. He gifted the community 5 memberships. Hit it.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
Joke. Zaha says, how could you win? 9 of our starters were not making NFL roster. Picking a quarterback with any coach is a mistake. Lies. Lies. Here are the lies again where we're supposed to be told that the Jets have no talent. They don't. 8 of their 11 starters on defense are back from a year ago. 8 of 11. They have a former first-team All-Pro at defensive tackle, linebacker, corner. Jermaine Johnson was a Pro Bowl alternate 2 seasons ago. Last year, he got hurt. Will McDonald had 10.5 sacks last year. Jamie and Sherwood just got paid top 10 linebacker money. They chose to keep him. They chose to pay Brandon Stevens, who, by the way, I'll give you a positive. He actually looks like he might not be terrible, Brandon Stevens. Good game today. From what I saw, I haven't rewatched this game, and I don't know if I plan on it. I used to love doing the rewatch. Now it's horrible. Kyle says, these mother grabbers. And by the way, for those who fall under the thought process of this super chat here from Zahaha, right? 9 of our starters would not make an NFL roster. That's not true. Olufashinu and Armand Membu, 2 bookend tackles. Joe Tippmann would start on a lot of teams at guard. He's really good. Garrett Wilson would start on a lot of teams. Mason Taylor would start on a lot of teams. It's not true. Brees would start on a lot of teams. It's not true. They have good players. They're not as bad as 0-7 only team in football without a win. Compare their roster to the Saints. Compare their roster to the Broncos. Compare their roster to the Cowboys, who destroyed the Jets. Look at these teams. Schottenheimer, first-year coach. He's turning it around. Ben Johnson, first-year coach. Liam Cohen, a first-year coach. All these coaches, but then the Jets, oh, no, they can't do it. They have talent on this team. It shouldn't be this bad. It shouldn't be worse than the NFL. Don't give these guys an excuse. They don't deserve it. They haven't earned it. Ronkdale says 15th year missing the playoffs, most across all sports. It's them and the Sabres, tied with the Sabres. We know the Jets are going to hold up their end of the bargain. I don't know how the Buffalo Sabres are doing so far, nor do I really care, but we'll see how they do. Because if they make the playoffs this year, then it's the Jets all by themselves in North American sports. O'Shea says, can't just take Lions players all under contract. There were guys that were available in free agency. He brought none of them in. So I don't want to hear it. Green Gang, great to see you at our tailgate today. He is in the Asmaniac Raffle for 5. He is playing to win a rivalry Garrett Wilson jersey at the end of the show.
Hello? You play to win the game.
RGGN. Jake, will you make YouTube shorts of your Aaron Glenn dance videos? I want to save them. They make me cringe and laugh. I don't know. I don't like it. It helps me vent when I play them. But like it's just pathetic that because if I don't laugh or try and find something to laugh at, like I will cry having to talk about this team for 4 hours a day with 10 games still to go in the season. Like I can't do it. All right, I'm gonna get to your calls coming up. I appreciate everyone who's watching. Smash that like button; it goes a long way. Once again, we're presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. If you want to support the show away from YouTube, the best way to do it is to join my Patreon. $6 a month. You get bonus shows every single month. Your name's added to the intro. You find out about exclusive events before anyone else. 20% off every merch item. And the best perk of all, commiserating in the Discord, where we have an extension of the YouTube chat, giant community all together in there. Some great behind-the-scenes photos from today have been posted in the Discord. Plenty more to come. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Huge shout out to Peter, Big Time, Aaron, Mikey, Felicia, Matthew, Kevin, Matthias, Ben, Dawn, Mike, and Max for being our most recent Patreon subscribers. All right. Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is where we go. Let's start it off with our guy, Rick Gordon. Hello, Rick.
Hey, Jake. Here we go again.
Oh,
Finally,
yeah.
I was begging. For Tyrod to start the second half, and amazingly, I got my wish. But what I don't understand about the OC is now when Taylor came out throwing, and he made some good throws, some really good short throws. He broke out of the pocket sometimes, avoided a sack, made some plays. Why did they totally abandon the running game? In the first half, when you have Fields, who you don't respect at all, and you throw 8 in the box, they ran the ball, and Brees was getting 3.5 yards a carry. They moved the ball a little bit. But now that you spread out the field, this is when Brees or Isaiah Davis should have been running the ball more, and they should have been just moving the chains. Because Taylor threw for 120. He was moving the chains, and then they went to the flea flicker, and then they went to another deep pass in the end zone into double coverage. I felt like they could have moved the chains, got closer, hopefully finish a drive, but stay with high percentage plays. But this OC, I agree with you, is no better than the coach. It's just an abomination. They went empty backfield. What the hell are the Jets doing going empty backfield? It's they could be 5-2 right now. The only games that they were never in was Dallas and Buffalo. The other 5, if they're well coached, they have a shot. It's absolutely it's just insane. And believe me, if McCarthy was available tomorrow, I would taste the risk of the bad PR. But I know he's not going to show up in the middle of a season. But if he was available, kind of like the Vrabel thing, once the Jets interviewed him, New England fired their coach, and Vrabel, you knew at that point we had no shot. But yeah, McCarthy would be a guy I would love to have because he's a head coach. He's a real coach. Aaron Glenn, again, like you said, with that first half, running out the clock again and not even doing a Hail Mary. He was a great DB for the Jets. Loved him as a player. But man, this guy is lost in the sauce as a head coach, and it has nothing to do with being a first-year head coach.
Rick, well said. Well said. I mean, sometimes you just know you made a mistake. And I don't know how you can watch this team and feel like they're well coached. They're headed in the right direction. I mean, this is Gerard Mayo all over again. And Robert Kraft showed some balls and fired a franchise legend, hired a real coach. Woody Johnson, you're on the clock. Forget the Jets being on the clock, which they are, because this team, at the bare minimum, we know is picking in the top 3. And there's a strong chance they're picking number 1. The owner's on the clock because he has an opportunity to admit a mistake and reset. You bottom out, and you're in position to get one of these quarterbacks. Pick the right one. And even if you pick the right one, guess what? If you have the wrong coach, it doesn't matter. See Sam Darnold. Don't screw up. Give yourself the best chance. Terrible. Terrible. I'm so disgusted. I do want to shout out something that's going on in the Boston area next week. Shout out to Gabrielle Waxenberg. She reached out. She is the founder of the Jet Fan Club in the Boston area. They have an event next week where they're going to be raising some money for the Marty Lyons Foundation, and Marty himself is going to be there. The event is next Sunday, October 26th. That's right in the midst of the Jets-Bengals game. The Boston Jets Club, they watch all the games at Tap 151 in Cambridge. You can check them out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. All the handles are Boston Jets Club, right? So the Marty Lyons Foundation event is next Sunday. They're raising money. Marty Lyons, Kenny Schroy, John Schmidt, they're all going to be there. They're going to have raffle prizes, tickets to Celtics and Knicks, Patriots and Jets, Yankees, Orioles, and Red Sox tickets. They'll have some signed memorabilia as well by a bunch of great Jets, including C.J. Mosley, Marty Lyons, Jack Hughes of the Devils, Ty Law of the Jets. Opportunity to win a round of golf with Marty Lyons. So it's a great fundraiser that they're doing in the Boston area at the Boston Jets Club for Marty's Foundation. And I just wanted to spread some word about that. The info is in the description. I put what you need to know. But once again, just search Boston Jets on social media, and you guys can check it out. Marty's been on the show a ton. We raised a bunch of money for his foundation at his golf tournament in July before training camp. So any of the Asmaniacs who live in the New England area want to watch the Jets next week with Marty Lyons and raise some money for his foundation, which helps kids with terminal illness, grants wishes for them. It's an amazing charity. Marty's been doing it forever. Amazing cause. That's going on in Boston next week at the Boston Jets Club. Once again, Tap 151 in Cambridge. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. But again, just search Boston Jets Club. You'll see all the info there. All right. Super chat from QB. We'll keep bringing it up every week. When is the Route 3 billboard coming? This team is hard. Funding needs to be started. Look, I mean, the stadium was half empty today, to be kind. Fans are going to speak with what that looks like. Fans will also speak when the sell the team chants start. That's going to be coming. We are reaching, though, planes flying over MetLife for firing Glenn. We are. This team loses next week, and they're going to the Bengals. They're going to be 0-8 at their bye. It's going to be 2 straight weeks of one-and-done talk. That's what this team is at right now. Sucks. I don't like to have to be this critical of Aaron Glenn. But we have to acknowledge him being a great player and wanting this job does not mean he gets this job no matter what if it continues to be this bad. If they're sitting there with the number 1 pick in the draft. Can't do it. More of your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to a man who was at this game today, sat next to me watching this debacle, looked as disgusted as I was during it. Where's this photo? Ladies and gentlemen, the great Nick Shine joins us now. Hello, Nick.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Wonderful.
There you go. At least you're smiling. I can always get you to smile no matter how bad it is. Yeah, man, it's coincidence that we have 7 losses and there's 7 letters in the name Mendoza? I don't think so, Jake. This is all that matters this season right now. Get the quarterback. You saw it today. You don't have a quarterback, man. As good as your defense can play, man, you can't win in this league without the signal caller. And how many years have we picked 6th? We picked 7th. We pick 11th. At this point, do I want to win? Sure, but I'm not going to be upset if we lose. We need the quarterback, man. It's the great turnaround in the NFL if you get the signal caller. So, I mean, you saw me firsthand today, and you know I'm pretty positive. And Angstrand and Glenn, I just feel that they could be good football guys, but they're not meant to run anything. Like Angstrand is a good assistant. Glenn is a good assistant, but horrible decision making. You know, we were saying in the beginning, we're running the ball 5 yards a clip the first couple carries, and we're throwing it on first down. We're taking a deep shot to Arian Smith. You know, do that on 2nd and short. First down, get a few yards, man. Make it simple for Fields, who struggles throwing the ball. If everyone was unaware of that, I'm sorry if I'm breaking news here. But I just feel that, like, they're randomly picking things to do, and there's not a vision and a plan, or they just deviate from it very quickly. So I'm getting closer to joining you with the one and done. I love Glenn. I loved him as a player. This is why I never wanted Don Mattingly to manage the Yankees, Jay, because I knew there's going to come a point where we hate him, right? There's going to come a point where you're rooting for him to get fired because you just don't want him running your team anymore. And that's where I'm at with Aaron Glenn. And it sucks, but that's where we are, man. But shout out to Tailgate Joe for putting a great party together for us. Shout out to everybody that came, especially Jaden, D'Angelo, who's still with us here. We got Knob Craft still here.
Hold on. Introduce him properly. Mr. Gorilla Salad.
Mr. Gorilla Salad, yes. And we got Jaden D'Angelo in the back, who...
His first ever Jets game. What an honor that was to watch that with him.
No, he came off for the home opener last year.
Never mind. It was Joe Bonesy's first ever Jets game. That's who it was.
Yes. And let me tell you, Sonny Bonesy kept me smiling and laughing the entire game. You saw me. Like, I was having so much fun with that. It got to the point Mr. Bonesy was sitting next to me, and then me and Sonny were playing, and Bonesy's just like, all right, I got to switch. Like, I'm going to put him next to you so you guys could just play together the whole time. But, you know, shout out to everyone who came out today. It was a blast. I hope everybody had fun. I hope everyone, you know, got home safely. And, yeah, we're gonna stop here at the Woodbridge Brewing Company and smoke some cigars, eat some food, watch some football, and I'll be on later. I think 10 o'clock. I'll shoot for with hanging out with these guys. So
Nick,
great job
today.
Are you okay though?
Yeah, I mean, look, I just what is there to say, man? I vent, I get frustrated. Nothing ever changes. They keep hiring first timers who are in over their head. It won't change. Cut your losses. If it continues, I'm still rooting for Glenn to turn it around. Believe me. I can't watch this game and what we have seen this year and have any confidence in this getting any better. I don't think it will.
I mean, it's what you change the quarterback and you still don't score. You have Breece Hall, and you know, some of our conversation throughout the day was line him up, let him replace Garrett. Well, if he's the only guy who can make a play and get open, line him up at wide receiver 1. Like, just do something to put pressure on the defense. I just feel that we are always under pressure. We don't ever apply the pressure. We don't ever put the defense on their heels. Everything is quick little passes, quick little outs. When we do take the deep shot, we miss it. And I mean, I'm about to order a Mendoza Jet jersey just to have it, and I don't even wear jerseys. You know that. And just I want to be the
Don't.
first one to have it.
Don't. They're gonna win 2 of their last 3 and blow it.
Yes,
Don't
that's
do it to
it, man.
yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Hey, I'll tell you what though, Nick. The game itself sucked, but thanks to you and everyone who came out to the tailgate today. Again, thanks to Tailgate Joe. And the question everyone in the chat wants to know: how did Big Cho take the loss? I have not heard from Big Cho since the game ended, but Big Cho did make it. We got him a golf cart ride to the stadium. So thanks to everyone who came out, and especially to Cho. He held court with everyone at the tailgate. I got some great photos I'll post in the recap video.
He replaced Bobby as the guy who just sat in the chair and didn't move, and everybody came up to. So Bobby was represented today.
Yes, he was.
Quick funny story. Team Curry was there, and Team Curry's 6'5", big dude, right? And forgive me, I forget whose idea it was. And they come up to me and like, we're gonna have Curry go up to Cho and say he's Georgie. And he goes up to Cho and says, "Hey, I'm Georgie. What's the problem, man? Why are you being a chump?" And he's like, Cho is shaking his hand and like he could feel him like shaking. He's like, "Man, I'm kidding. I'm not Georgie. Please, calm down." But Cho got like, "Oh shit," when he looked at him.
That's awesome. I love it. Nick, hang in there, man. And are you still going to Cincinnati to watch the Jets next week with your son?
Me and my son are going to take a road trip and have a nice father-son trip together. And
don't go to Cincinnati. Go anywhere else. That's honestly, we got to call the police on you if you're going to subject your son to watching the Jets next week in person. Driving 10 hours to watch that, you can't do it.
Listen, man, I'll take the memories with my son. I'll sign up for that. He wants to do it. I'm not going to tell him no, dude. He's 17. And for those of you who know, he's a senior in high school. There's going to come a time where he doesn't want to hang with his dad anymore. So I take it as a blessing and an honor that he still, wants to do these things because, you saw him today with his girlfriend. They barely separate from one another. So his dad is still cool to hang out with for a week.
Calm your freaky down.
Oh, I saw it. All right. Nick, God bless, man. Good seeing you.
Later, buddy. Have a good show. Smile, Jake.
Oh, yeah. I'll smile. You want to smile?
I'm gonna do my silly dance, cause we're built like shit. What kind of a question is that? We have the moral victories. My team has no wins. No wins.
I'm also going to smile if the Giants end up blowing this because Denver just took the lead. So if they blow it, it doesn't make up for the fact the Jets are a disaster, but I'll bring a smile to my face. All right, more of your calls. Thanks to everyone who's holding. I promise if you're on hold, I will get to you. You will be able to deliver your takes like Burkinator is about to. He's next. What's up, Burkinator?
What's up, Jake? How you doing, brother?
I'm hanging in, Jets stink. What else is new?
It's rough, man. I just want to make it clear I wasn't on the letting Rodgers go bandwagon based on the simple fact that he had horrible coaching on that team, and I thought that if we kept him and obviously some weapons like Devontae, they would have at least played as well as they did last year, maybe even better this year. I had them at 7 or 8 wins this year. I did not expect this. When they got rid of Fields, I wasn't happy. When they got rid of Rodgers, I wasn't happy about it. But when they brought in Fields, I was under the impression, again, with Angstrom being behind what's his name in Chicago, and Aaron Glenn being a former Jet, I was under the impression that they were going to put him in a situation to succeed somewhat, or at least manage the game enough to win some games and be competitive, more competitive than last year, and committing less penalties. I didn't expect this to get this out of hand. It's obvious from everyone who watched it that, and I already knew this a couple weeks ago after the Miami game, I was sure of this, but I'm absolutely positive now. Justin Fields is obviously not the guy, but you got to put blame on the coaching staff as much as I don't want to, because if you look at Justin Fields with Pittsburgh, who is well coached, and for all the idiots, V-Man, who said, what's his face, Tomlin's a pine cone, that's shameful. The guy obviously put Fields in a situation where they could get out 4-2, be involved, and then obviously they benched Justin Fields for a reason, because he just was limited. in his reads and what he can do with an offense. So we got to take all this into consideration. Do I feel Fields could play better with a better coaching staff? Absolutely. I don't think that they gave him the best chance this year. I also don't think he's the answer. And at this point, I feel like, and I never ever wanted the Jets to tank in my life. We've seen some bad seasons. I feel like it's a lose-lose, right, Jake? Because if they tank, Aaron Glenn's on the hot seat. We got to start all over again. And I fear that we're not going to get an experienced head coach that would even really, like for example, a guy like McCarthy or a guy like Cliff Kingsbury. Do they really want to take their second chance, which is like the last time they get a chance to be a head coach with the New York Jets in this turmoil?
Well, the only way they would do it, Burkinator, is if they have the number one pick. You got cap space, which they do. And you look at this team and go, wait a second. I have 2 bookend tackles. I have a legit guard. I have a number 1 receiver. I have a solid tight end. I think Mason Taylor's been a bright spot in a year full of nightmares. The defense still has some good players on it. Like, it's not the worst place for a young quarterback if you believe there's a great quarterback you can coach up. Like, it's pretty awesome. So I understand your point, but I feel like they need to not worry about who would want this job. If you know Glenn is already not your guy, you don't let him pick the quarterback and start ruining that quarterback potentially.
No, listen, I agree with you 100%. As far as I was on board with all the firing Glenn right away, but the way that this has been going, if it continues, I agree with you. How do you give a guy a second chance with a brand new quarterback who you're investing in for the next 5 years with this? I mean, they were kind of supposed to do this a little bit with a seasoned guy in Justin Fields, and they failed miserably. A guy who's been in the league, who has experience somewhat, looks like he's a deer in the headlights completely. And what do you do? I mean, at this point, do you bench Justin Fields and start Tyrod Taylor? What does that do to you? You already know what you got at Tyrod Taylor.
I think you give Tyrod a full game, full week to prep. I mean, you haven't scored a touchdown in 2 straight weeks, right? You haven't scored a touchdown in the first half since week 1. I'm not sitting here telling you Tyrod's that much better than Fields, but I think you got to give Tyrod a full week of prep, let him be the guy. And if it's terrible, yeah, I mean, maybe you go to Fields at some point next week. And Tyrod also has a tendency to get hurt, but I think you got to start Tyrod this week. Like, we could say, what does it matter? I think if you're Glenn, you're trying to not lose the locker room. Like, you start Tyrod. He's not afraid to at least give his receivers a chance to make a play. Like, Tyrod's QBR is worse than Fields today because he gets docked for the interceptions. Did the offense look better with Tyrod or Fields? We all watched the game. It obviously looked better with Tyrod. Not saying much, but that's how bad Fields was. You start Tyrod and you start getting Brady Cook ready to play at the end of the year because that's where this is headed to.
That's what I was going to lead to, and I don't want to take up too much time because I know I like to go on a rant, but I agree with you as far as you got to play Tyrod to keep the locker room, at least give you a chance to see what you have going into next year. And if Tyrod's not getting it done, at least to show some type of progress, right? Some type of positivity. Sure. And if that's not getting done, I agree with Brady Cook. You have him. You picked him up as an asset. Why don't you see what he's worth? If it's a dead season, I mean, see where he's going to fit on the roster next year, if he's going to make the roster next year. And just, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, this is the lowest of the low that I've seen because of it. I don't know where you go from here. Like, I really just don't know where you go.
You see. I'll tell you what. Like, because I agree with you, Burkinator. Good call. You see how the rest of the year plays out, and then you evaluate. If Glenn can't turn this around, you're changing the regime. That's what you do. You hit rock bottom finally. But you'll keep digging even further if you keep Aaron Glenn, if his team goes out there 1-16, 2-15, they're picking number 1 overall, and you let him draft Fernando Mendoza. Why? Or Mendoza's now the hot flavor of the week. Whoever it ends up being, Moore, Simpson, Sellers, I don't care. You do not, though, under any circumstance, allow that pick to be made by this regime. Look at Tennessee. They're the best example of this. The last 4 quarterbacks taken first overall, their head coach did not survive after year 1. And in a couple of these scenarios, in year 1, Eberflus got fired in his first year with Caleb last year. Once again, and this is why I'm so steadfast on Glenn not being allowed to make the pick if they're sitting there at number 1 overall. If this team finishes number 1 overall, your head coach is incompetent. This is not the worst team in the league from a talent standpoint. Not even close. The Gase team was far worse, and that team won 2 games and didn't actually finish number 1 overall. Zahaha would love to understand how Glenn was a better candidate than Flores and Brady. How? Well, if you listen to this show, he wasn't, at least with Flores. Right? Look, I wanted the Jets to hire a head coach with previous head coaching experience. My issue with the search that the Jets ran is they did not interview enough of those guys. They wasted time on interviewing the crappy Maryland head football coach instead of even requesting Mike McCarthy or John Gruden. Right? Liam Cohen probably wasn't taking this job. Ben Johnson was going to say no. Fine. They didn't even bother, though, talking to guys that have previous head coaching experience. Not enough of them. But the only one they did talk to was Flores, a Brooklyn guy who his last 2 years in your division had a winning record with Tua, who stinks. That's a program builder. That's a guy to give a second chance to. They didn't want to hire him. But my big thing for a year now, right? Almost a year, because we really started having these conversations when the season was spiraling like late October and then all in November and December. Whoever they hire could not be someone learning on the job, a first-time head coach. This is not a job for first-timers. And I saved the receipts because people act like I'm just making this up. I've been consistent from the beginning on this. This is late November, early December when Beningo was on for one of his appearances.
And I'll tell you right now, if you bring in a first-time coordinator, you can write it down. He'll be walking out the door again in 3 years.
Couldn't agree more. This job, no matter who they hire, is not a job for first-timers. You have to bring in someone that has already been successful in the league. I mean, sorry, I didn't want Aaron Glenn. Not because I was anti him as a candidate, because I didn't want a first-time head coach learning on the job. And I said, if you were going to hire a first-time head coach learning on the job, pick an offensive guy. I'd rather Josh McCown than Aaron Glenn, because McCown at least has a feel for modern offense. He has a feel for the quarterback position. Some of the best coaches in the league now are former quarterbacks. Kevin O'Connell. Right? Sean McVay played quarterback at D3. He won like the Heisman Award for Division III football. Wasn't the NFL, but like some of the best coaches in the league are offensive guys that a lot of them played the quarterback position. It's terrible. Terrible. All right, more of your calls here. The Giants score a touchdown. What do we got? I don't know. I can't. They're looking at the replay. Let's get the more of your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, the guy I'm going to bring on has never liked Aaron Glenn from the beginning. And I'll tell you what, his take then and now is looking pretty good. Ladies and gentlemen, my buddy Dan joins us next. Hello, Dan Budick.
Jake, how we doing?
Fantastic. As great as one could be after watching that in person today. And Dan was at the Cowboy game in a suite, so you saw that debacle a few weeks ago.
Fortunately, I was in a suite and I could just drink. I think, and I agree, there were things, and we talked about it, that I felt like were red flags coming into the year over the summer with Glenn. The way he talked, the brashness of him to now say, we're building this foundation. It's BS. But the real striking thing about Aaron Glenn, he just has no feel for the game. Like, he just doesn't have a feel for what to do, when to do it, when to make a change, when not to make a change. Like, it's just funny. It's kind of comical that, and it was the right move today to go to Tyrod Taylor at the half, but a week ago, he laughed at that. He laughed at it. Why would I go to Tyrod? We have the great Justin Fields. And here we are a week later, and he says on the postgame, well, I felt like it was time for a change. He just has no real feel for the game, and I agree with you. I just don't see this turning around to the point where you feel good about him coming back as the head coach, leading this team, leading a top draft pick, and making decisions on personnel moving forward. I just don't know how you could say through 7 games there's been any progress made here. It's very disappointing, obviously, and I know you are too. It's so frustrating that this team continues to trip over themselves year in and year out. It's just infuriating.
They play a different sport compared to the rest of the league when you watch the Jets play offense. And we've said this too many times. 2 straight games where they don't score an offensive touchdown. Not scoring an offensive touchdown in the first half of a game since the first game of the year. From week 2 on, they have not scored a touchdown in the first half. They have not scored a touchdown unless they're trailing by at least 14 points when it happened. It's mind-boggling how inept they are offensively. And a lot of it's their own doing with the quarterback decisions they made, not having any receivers. I mean, we all knew they needed another receiver this offseason, and they added no one besides Josh Reynolds. Like, it's so predictable that, of course, if Garrett Wilson's not there, they're going to struggle. And even last week they had Garrett Wilson, and Fields going to complete a forward pass. Like, they're horrific, man. And you can't win that way in the modern NFL when your head coach is just that oblivious to how to coach offense. You can't.
Right. And clearly they've been, trying to manage the game offensively with Fields the last, game and a half, because he only played the first half today. Like, trying to figure out a way to make it happen, not trying to execute a game plan. Like, it just didn't feel like the last couple of weeks they had much of a game plan on offense. Like, they're not establishing the run. Breece Hall, don't get him involved in the passing attack. Like, what are they trying to do on offense? Like, there just isn't a game plan where you're saying, okay, here we are. They're establishing the run. They'll work off play action. They're rolling Fields out. And you said it earlier, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. If the guy's compromised at the one thing he can do, you got to make a change at quarterback. That even furthers the point that why wasn't a change made last week when they had a chance to win the game? The coach has no feel. He says all the wrong things. And unfortunately, he says he's building this culture. Like Chris Myers said, this really struck me during the broadcast. This awful broadcast, by the way, on Fox today. It was horrific.
I'm glad that's probably the only good part about going to that awful stadium today, to watch this in person.
But Chris Myers said he spoke to Aaron Glenn and asked Aaron Glenn, is there pressure to get the first win? And he said, no, we're building the culture. And maybe, obviously, it's taken out of – maybe it wasn't a direct quote, but that is what Chris Myers said. And, what fire are you like? What culture? They lose every week. What culture? They lose every
We dance,
game.
baby. Hit it. That's the culture, baby.
Dude,
no wins for life.
Dude, no wins for life. But you said it earlier. Aaron Glenn is 2-0 on challenges this year. How many coaches haven't lost a challenge this year and have thrown the challenge flag at least twice? Aaron Glenn has not lost a challenge.
He's unbelievable. And by the way, so your record prediction for the Jets was 4-13 before the year started. They're not coming close to 4 wins.
Yeah, which is wild because I thought I was really overselling the losses. I thought, I was hoping they'd be better than that, but you're right. Where are the wins coming from? Where are they coming from?
I mean, if you can't beat Carolina at home today when you hold them to 13 points, or Denver last week when you hold them to 13 points, they're going to go and beat Cincinnati next week the way Flacco's playing with those receivers. They're going to be able to score enough points where the Jets just don't have a chance. I think it may be Cleveland after the bye, maybe. But Cleveland today destroyed Miami. They have a really good defense. They're well coached, better than the Jets, certainly. I don't know, man. I don't think they're going to go winless, but this team's not winning more than 2 games at most.
For sure. And you said it before, but you cannot sell. Well, they won 2 of their last 3 games if they go 2-15.
That's what's coming, though.
You can't sell me that.
Dude, and that's why I say the wins need to happen now, Dan, because if you beat at New Orleans late in the year and then you beat the Bills who sit all their starters in week 18 because they're getting ready for the playoffs, that's not progress. And Woody needs to see that. And if that happens, where those are the only 2 wins they have all year, Glenn has to be one and done. I'm sorry. He's got to go. You cannot allow him to come back because this team has too much talent to be the worst team in the NFL. It should not be this bad.
Yeah, I missed Glenn's presser. What did he say about Garrett Wilson?
He said that, we thought maybe he was close to playing, but we had to protect the player from himself.
Okay, so I guess we'll see during the week. But you're right. There's nothing at wide receiver. Their second best pass catcher is Mason Taylor, and they don't even get him the ball enough.
It's unbelievable. By the way Denver just handled the end of this game here, that's how you manage the clock. I mean, that is a well-coached Sean Payton operation there. Bo Nix got him in field goal range, and assuming their kicker doesn't choke like the Giants kicker did, the Broncos are about to win this.
I have one more point for you. Second straight week, the Jets have a chance to do something before the half. This week, they didn't get the ball back at half. So that whole strategy that Glenn said last week, prevent them, you get the ball back. It was not in the cards this week because they didn't get the ball at the start of the second half. And he did the same thing.
He sat on it. Yeah, he took the timeout with him to the locker room. Because he didn't trust his quarterback. It's like he can't trust him to throw a Hail Mary. Put Tyrod in to throw the Hail Mary then. Give your team a chance. He's coaching scared. He's supposed to change the loser mentality that engulfs the Jet organization, these players who all they know is losing. When you coach like a loser, you don't change anything. You make it worse.
Yeah, he's a loser head coach. One thing I'll say, only positive you could take is the defense has really shown up the last 2 weeks, and the good players that we've been talking about that haven't performed are finally performing.
Right, but the problem with that is it took too long for that to happen.
No,
because your
100%.
season was sunk before they showed up.
100%. I mean, it's not at least like they're in these games where you could look at the offense and say figure it out. Like they're not failing right now at all phases of the game, which is I guess an improvement, but the offense is just awful. And there is no question that Tyrod Taylor has to be the quarterback next week.
Agreed.
Forget about
100%.
the QBR. They at least looked like a functional offense that could move the chains when Tyrod Taylor was in there.
He at least will give them chances downfield. He'll throw it up and allow his players to at least try and make a play. Fields just holds on to the ball and takes sacks.
Yeah, and if he can't move, if he's really the bottom half his legs are bothering him, he's useless. He can't throw out of the pocket.
Now, before you go, so for those who don't know, Dan is one of my lifelong friends. I was the best man at his wedding in March, the night that the Jets, by the way, re-signed Jamie and Sherwood. And minutes before my best man speech, I went and did a YouTube short on it. Tell the Asmaniac community watching how my best man speech was to you and your wonderful wife, Casey, who I don't even know if she's in the room there, but hi, Casey, if she is.
She's here. She says hello. And she's very upset about how the Jets are playing as well.
I'm sure she's devastated.
The best man speech was phenomenal. And you mentioned that you got in there that, I do hate the owner of this football team.
That you do.
I think he's in the absolute. He is the start of the problems. But unfortunately, we can't fire him, and nobody can fire him. But it was a great speech, and we are. I spent some time this morning just reflecting back on the last 15 years. I was nostalgic of the last 15 years of Jets football. So I pulled up, the Football Reference just to look at the last 15 years. Like you see it laid out, and it's just. It's hard to believe this team has not been to the playoffs since we are in 10th grade. We're 30.
It's unbelievable, dude. It just and really outside of the Fitzpatrick year, they have not come close.
No, they haven't come close. And that year, as great as it was, ended in heartbreak. So this team has not had a finish to the season where you say, nice year by the Jets. In 15 years.
And there's no end in sight if they allow this coach, if it doesn't get better, to come back and draft a quarterback.
And just so everyone can kind of take this in, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, there it is. There's that Wikipedia page. It's not updated though with that extra win, that extra loss.
That's right.
The one thing I will say is the way we looked at the Cleveland Browns in 2016, 17, 18, and 19 is the way the rest of the NFL looks at the New York Jets now. And we should all let that marinate for a bit, that we are the worst. Like, we are that team that everyone is just, forget about, the same old Jets, they go 8-8, 7. Like, this is just the worst. And I say this all the time to you, they can't even be fake good. They can't even be fake good.
It's well said. Now, Dan, I'll give you good news. Giants ended up blowing it. I know you hate the Giants, so at least we have that.
Yeah, there you go. But they, they have played well. I like Jackson Dart from what I've seen. I didn't see the game today, but Jackson Dart looks good.
Almost like, I don't know, doing what I wanted them to do the whole time of keeping Aaron Rodgers and drafting a quarterback to sit and learn would have been a good idea for the Jets to do. But, Aaron Glenn and the staff would ruin that quarterback anyway. So,
and I know you said this before, but we should have the foreshadowing of the way they handled Rodgers at the end with that flying him cross country for that 15-second meeting, and the way Rodgers, and obviously, maybe he exaggerated a little bit, but the way it sounds like that meeting went really should have foreshadowed what we were in for with this regime for this season. Horrific.
I think that's fair, because even if they made the decision to move on from Rodgers, the way it was handled, the arrogance, the hubris of the coach, it has not bode well. I mean, everything they've done since then, he's been, to your point in your little line underneath your name, it's been very phony-ish, very fraudulent.
Very phony.
It's been the opposite and way worse than it's ever been.
Horrible. Well, I'll let you go, and thanks for taking my call, and, we got to just hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, diehard Jet fan, Dan Buick. Dan mentioned the way the Rodgers thing was handled with Glenn. Let me go back and revisit that. I haven't watched this in a while, but I have it saved because we covered it on the show. This was Aaron Rodgers explaining how his meeting with Aaron Glenn went to discuss his future.
I meet with the coach. We start talking. He runs out of the room. I'm like, that's kind of strange. I was like, then he comes back with the GM. And I'm like, all right. So we sit down in the office. And I think we're going to have this long conversation. I've flown across the country. And 20 seconds in, he goes, literally, I'm talking to the GM about something, and he leans to the edge of his seat and goes, so do you want to play football? And I was like, yeah, I'm interested. And he said, we're going a different direction at quarterback. And I said, and I was kind of shocked. Now, not shocked because I didn't think that was a possibility. Listen, of course, they want to move on. That's totally fine. But shocked because I just flew across country. You could have told me this on the phone. If we weren't even going to have a conversation, and this is verbatim exactly how it happened. So I said, huh? And he goes, we just want to know how you want it released, the messaging. And I said, verbatim, I don't give a shit about the message. And I said, why? And then he said, I don't want to be up in front of the room saying something and have guys looking back at you.
Interesting.
And I said, what does that even mean? Are you assuming that I would be in the back of the room during a team meeting undermining what you're saying? I said, you don't know me. And he said, you don't know me. And then I said, exactly, which is why I flew across the country to have a face-to-face meeting with you to talk about my experience with the Jets and to hear your vision for the team. 20 seconds in. What I thought was going to be a couple-hour meeting turned into like a 15-minute meeting, and I walked out of there.
I mean, they have every right to move on, but their first big decision after moving on and not even entertaining the idea of Rodgers back on a pay cut that he said he would do and mentor a quarterback, which he said he'd also do, is to give Justin Fields $30 million guaranteed and then sell us on the fact that Justin Fields has never been coached properly. We're going to coach him up. We're going to let him play quarterback, taking shots at the Steelers' offensive staff, the Bears' offensive staff, and Aaron Glenn's evaluation on quarterbacks. All we know is didn't want Rodgers, wanted Fields because they were going to be able to unlock him, let him play quarterback, and this is what we get. Benched. 7 games into that 2-year, $40 million contract. So why is Aaron Glenn getting the pick? Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore or whoever? Ty Simpson, Lenora Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier, whoever. Whoever they pick, it's the wrong pick if Aaron Glenn's making it. Sorry, wrong pick. I'll root for him. I hope I'm wrong. I'm a Jet fan. I live and die with this team. But I have seen enough where this needs to be Gerard Mayo if this doesn't get better. And I mean get better now. Not win 2 of your last 3 and Aaron Glenn is trying to sell us on how they ended the year strong. You need to win games right now. Otherwise, if Gerard Mayo, who is a franchise legend for the Patriots, could be one and done, so can Aaron Glenn. Let's not move the goalpost now. Aaron Glenn, now he's trying to tell you this is a rebuild. That's not what he was saying when he was puffing his chest about it in March.
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. So any questions?
Yeah, when does the winning start? Answer that one. You can't because you have no clue. When does the winning start? That should be the question. And that should be the question the owner's asking too. Because there's no way Woody Johnson is not having second doubts if he's a human being. Because this fan base deserves so much more. 15 years of this, man. 15 years of this. Not even close to the playoffs. Not even close. Terrible. Terrible. More of your calls right now. Black Gypsy's on the line. He's next. What's up, Mr. Gypsy?
Jake, I want them all gone. I want all of them gone. Every single
Every single person on that. I'm talking even the equipment managers, guys that do I want them all gone. Like you know what? His press conference made me realize that him and the OC don't really have conversations. He just lets the OC do whatever he does. The OC says, "Hey, I'm doing this," and that's it. Because we could have won this game. Like you put Taylor in, and then you don't pass the ball to Brees. You don't run the ball with Brees. You don't run any screens. You run one out route and a whole bunch of go routes. Like, we were still in the game. Like, why would your OC just be launching? Like, we need to manage the clock and get first downs. Because if we do so, then we win the game. They don't get the ball back. Like, we could tie the game or win the game. Like, we were in control of that whole game. When we put Tyrod in, the play calls just boggled me. Like, there was plays where in the first 3 sets that Tyrod went on, where Brees was open. Wide open. No one covering him. No passes to Brees. Just to Arian and Reynolds. All right, cool. And then I think he believed that Fields was good and they were going to rehab Fields. But it just speaks to a dereliction of duty if you didn't have any part to do with anything with Fields actually getting better. You just put it on your OC and say, hey, make him better. And the OC is trying his best, but just shit the bed today. Like, it was a bad game. It's over, bro. It's over.
It's
I want
getting
them all
worse.
gone.
It's getting worse.
I want them
They're
all
supposed to
gone.
be.
I want them all gone, bro.
They should be gone. They should be gone. They're 0-7. They're the worst team in the league, and there's legitimate players on this roster. This is not 2020. I saw that season. I lived through it. That team was trash in every sense of the word. There's good football players on this team. It should never look like this.
On the positive side, someone's listening to the Asmaniac show, because the first 3 plays of the game were what we were asking for. A screenplay, run it with Brees, like a quick slant play. That was 3 solid plays. Those were the only 3 solid plays for the whole game. The rest of the game was backyard football, it seemed like, when they put Tyrod in. And it's disappointing on a whole different level, because you can lose, but how you lose, we are the official. I mean, we've been the official clowns forever, but now it just stamps it. Like, you just walk around with a big, just gear is this big loser on the front of your forehead. Not even for the players or the team, but it's just a joke of an organization. Like, no one takes it seriously.
He was supposed to change that. That's the whole point. That's why he's doing his press conference. We're the New York Jets. We're built for that. Like, that's what he was supposed to change. And now he's up there giving us slow ships, take a while to turn. Let me quote Robert Saleh. Like, he everything this man said, and the confidence, the bravado, everything that we wanted to buy into because we're fans and we wanted to root for him because he was a Jet who wanted the job. It's all gone. He's up there. He has no answer for anything. He has no clue.
Dude, now he's simping. Like, that's what he's been doing the last couple of weeks. Just, like, I don't want to hear you cry, bro. Fix it or leave. Like, that's it. I'm however many games they give him, I don't care about. Like, I'm over it. I'm done. Like, this is like when Aaron Rodgers got hurt in that game. Like, you just knew your season was over. So I was just like, I'm gonna watch them, but I'm done. I'm done. Like, I'm done. There's nothing else he could do. He could win the rest of the games this season. The way the first half of the season went for me, like, it just made me not like him. Like,
I mean, he's done irreparable damage to a lot of the fans unless he starts winning now, like not in December. Now, go beat the Bengals, go beat the Browns, go win a couple games in a row and show some competency.
I don't see it happening.
It's not going to happen, but I'm just telling you that's what needs to happen to have any chance.
They're going to find a new way to disappoint us next week. A whole different way of doing it.
Watch, the offense somehow will play good next week, and the defense will. So, like, it's just any way to get us to feel worse.
It up.
Yeah, something. Like the Giants, who just blew that game. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, the kick and miss too. But you know what? In watching that game, Sean Payton is a god at how he coaches football. Yeah. Because he makes Bo Nix look like he's fucking one of the greatest quarterbacks ever when they win a game. And he's doing the most simple things. But he understands to do it, and they have a scheme. Like, we don't have a scheme. We don't have any plans. I think black football teams could beat us right now. That's all I got, bro.
Yeah, well said, Black Gypsy. It's tough to argue with that. That's how bad it is. Tough to argue with any of that. HH in the raffle for 2. Thanks to Fanatics, we are going to give away a Garrett Wilson rivalry jersey. Fanatics jumping on board for some of these post games, which is awesome. testament to you guys in the community that they even want to associate with this football team right now because of how awesome this channel is. So thank you to Fanatics for that. HH says, AG, poor coaching cannot be excused because he's an all-time great, 2-time Pro Bowler. Big deal. Gerard Mayo won a Super Bowl playing for the Pats. If he can go, so can Glenn. Yeah, I mean, Aaron Glenn was a really good Jet. I don't want to belittle his career. Until Revis, you can make a case he was the best corner they've had. But we need to separate the two. Aaron Glenn, the coach, if he never played for the Jets, anyone who's still trying to say, but wait, you wouldn't be. Separate the two. It's not the same job. And going from defensive coordinator to head coach is not the same job. That's why we wanted someone who's done the job before. David says, Jake asked Tannenbaum why he chose Aaron Glenn, one of the most clueless coaches to appear in the NFL in years. I don't know how many times I could ask Mike questions about Glenn. Now, I was off today because I took off to do the show or to do the tailgate with my listeners. But I'm on next week, and I will absolutely talk to Mike about Aaron Glenn and have the one-and-done conversation with him because I don't care if he likes Aaron Glenn and he recommended him. Guess what? It's Woody Johnson's final decision. And so far, Mike T could spin it however he wants to spin it. Aaron Glenn has been a horrific NFL head coach. Not bad, horrific. And I will say this to his face. And I plan on it. And he could disagree with me, and he could have his retort, and he's entitled to his opinion. But we're not going to agree. Tell you that much. Tune in. 8 a.m. 8 to 12 next Sunday, ESPN New York. Get ready for, grab your popcorn. Carlos, Super Chat, cuts the line. Hey, Jake, has there ever been a team that has never won anything in an entire season? Thank you. There's been 2 winless teams in the 16-game format, never in the 17-game format. No team's ever gone 0-17. The Jets would be the first if it actually came to that. Which, if you guaranteed me Glenn is out, but he might not be out at 2 wins, what do I care about 2 wins? Right? What do I care? So, no one's ever gone 0-17. The 08 Lions went 0-16. I think, was it the 16 or the 17 Browns that went 0-16? And one of those Browns teams did. I thought my buddy Dan made a great point. How we used to look at the Browns like as the laughing stock of like the NFL. That's the Jets. The Jets are the Browns. Jets are the Lions. It's unbelievable. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank is next. Hey, Frank.
Oh, Jake, I've been waiting for this. Let me preface this by saying that I'm a federal employee who is on furlough. I'm literally working without getting paid. I also, for the first time in 15 years, I have Sundays off. I finally switched my days off. So in 15 years, I haven't had a Sunday off. I've had to listen to the Jets in the car on the radio and not be tempted to drive my car into oncoming traffic, hearing about this franchise. That being said, I hate people who criticize you and say that you're negative and that you don't want to give Aaron Glenn a chance. Oh, these Aaron Glenn defenders.
Have you seen my mentions on Twitter? Oh, my God.
I've seen him. Believe me, I've seen him. I've gotten him on Instagram because they say it's trolling. I say it's not trolling. I've told you this before. I want Aaron Glenn to succeed. He's a Jet. He wanted this job. I want him to succeed. But the idea that this franchise didn't even give Mike McCarthy a call.
No.
Didn't give Cliff Kingsbury a call. They gave Rex Ryan a call, and fans, nostalgic fans wanted Rex. I saw a bunch of that, but
hey, by the way, I don't think hiring Rex would have been the right move, but Rex would not be 0-7 if you hired him. That's for sure.
Exactly. And here's the thing that's laughable to me is that Aaron, like you pointed out, Darren Muji works for Aaron Glenn, not the other way around. Aaron Glenn made the decision to move on from Aaron Rodgers. Now, do I think Aaron Rodgers would be 7-0, 6-1, 5-2 at the Jets? No, because the defense was terrible to start the season. But they'd at least look competent on offense. You have Mason Taylor, you have Breece Hall, you have Garrett Wilson. You have an offensive line that's starting to take shape. At least the talent is there. You can see it. It's like you said, they're not devoid of talent. They're not the Detroit Lions when Dan Campbell took over. They're not the Browns for all those years where they had no quarterback and they had the long list of jerseys and every quarterback that they had played from. Jets fans, by the way, should do that. List every quarterback that's played for them in the last 15 years because it's becoming as bad as Cleveland.
Yeah, we are the Browns. And by the way, the Browns have made the playoffs 2 of the last 5 years.
Yes.
Like the Jets have not made the playoffs in 15 years.
I have had to sit here and witness this franchise for 15 years. I'm 30. I'm going to be 35 years old on November 6th. I can count on my hands the amount of times that I've seen this team have a semi-successful season, which means that they get to the playoffs or they at least reach above 500. This franchise is a franchise that needs leadership, and Mike McCarthy has his faults, and he's not a perfect coach by any means. But I would respect Woody Johnson more if at the end of this year he said, I made a mistake, Aaron Glenn has to go, and he picks up the phone and he calls Mike McCarthy, because anybody who thinks that Mike McCarthy wouldn't take this job with the number 1 overall pick, with Sauce Gardner, Jamie Sherwood, Quinnen Williams, you have Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, if you don't trade him away, which I think they're going to. But at least with the first overall pick, you pick your guy. That's your team because that's your guy. You buy yourself some time. And right now, those contracts, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, you're lucky because you're going to have a quarterback on a rookie deal. You're not going to have to pay a quarterback. Josh McCown, I'd give him a shot. I know that you feel like first-time head coach, it's too big of a job. I get it. But at least if it's going to be a first-time head coach, I'd rather be an offensive mind, somebody who understands modern NFL offenses. This entire league is predicated on making it as easy to score as humanly possible. I mean, this isn't like the early 90s or the 80s where it's 12 to 7 games or 14 to 7 games and you win on a safety. This team can't score points. Justin Fields can't throw the ball. And did you see earlier this week, Aaron Glenn goes, well, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, they hold the ball probably just as long. I don't care. They're MVPs. They make the throw.
Hey, do you think Aaron Glenn would have benched Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen at halftime today? Or maybe they were playing a little better than Justin Fields and he wouldn't have had to.
Shockingly, I think he would have benched him. He probably would have said, well, in my infinite amount of wisdom, I'm going to bench Lamar Jackson. He is so lost, and this is what hurts the most, is that was the first Jets jersey I ever had was Aaron Glenn. My father, like I pointed out, the worst thing he ever did to me was make me a New York Jets fan. I cannot sit here, and I've told my wife this, the New York Jets and Jets fans relationship, this is an abusive relationship. This is where we love them, and they don't love us back because they never reward us for our love for this franchise. Therapy for me has been going to Buccaneers games and watching Baker Mayfield, who is him, winning 2-minute drives. Todd Bowles, who got second life breathed into him by Bruce Arians, becoming a competent head coach. Aaron Glenn is not it. He's got to go. And like you said, if he is the head coach next year with the first overall pick, if I'm Fernando Mendoza, I'm pulling an Eli Manning. I'm telling him I'm not coming to this team. You draft me, I'm not playing. I'm not signing any rookie contract. You cannot. If I'm a kid in college and he is the head coach, I cannot let you jeopardize my career. He is horrible, horrible. He's clueless. So for everybody who says that you're the negative Jets fan, that you just all you do is spread negativity, no, you tell the truth. And the truth, all you have to do is watch your television. Because I took a nap for the first time, and God only knows how long today. I turned the television and I went, oh, Jets are losing. That's usual. And I went back to sleep. I woke up just so I could wait for this show because I wanted to hear your opinions on it. Because that's how bad this is. That when I wake up from a nap, it's normal for me to see the New York Jets losing.
You didn't miss much, Frank. I appreciate the call. Look, it's funny. The people that say I'm negative now, I was the guy who was picking the Jets to win 12 games the last 2 years. I was the guy they used to call me a Zach Wilson truther because I preached patience in the second year when they were on that winning streak and he wasn't really doing much. So I'm a fan who calls it how it is. You could agree or disagree with my opinions, but they're my opinions. So when I see moronic comments like from this guy, David, it says, Jake is Tannenbaum's puppet. What are you talking about? If you listen to the show, we got into it last week about Aaron Glenn. You obviously don't listen, David. I can't force Mike Tannenbaum to say Aaron Glenn sucks. All right. All I could do is ask him the questions, or we could have the discussion in a segment about the job he's doing. Sorry you don't like his answers. You have the audacity to say, I thought Jake spoke the truth. I do speak the truth. I give my opinion. And I'll tell you what, my opinion is that you're a clown. And quite frankly, I don't want to see your comments anymore. So farewell.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
We'll see you in 24 hours. J-Max, you were one of the few who wanted to keep Rodgers and draft a quarterback, which would have been correct. Yeah. And you want to know part of my thought process with why I wanted Rodgers back on a pay cut, which he said he would do? Because it means you also get to keep Devontae Adams. Oh, he only had 3 touchdowns today. We don't need that. We have Josh Reynolds and Allen Lazard running routes. Why is Allen Lazard out there? Just cut him. Enough. Play anyone else. I mean, I didn't have the best view of it from where we were in the end zone, but on the one like trick play, the bomb or whatever the play was where Lazard could have went up, terrible effort there. Fight for the ball, man. Joke. Carlos, super chat. I already read that one. All right, let's keep going here. I know what we need right now. We need maybe a little pick-me-up. Maybe someone that could come in with a no-nonsense approach. Come on the show. Just spit take after take after take and maybe snort a line of you-know-what before he does so.
If Mad Max ain't yapping about jets, that boy, he's jamming. He's slamming, freaking dancing, wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't ever stopped yapping, that boy, he still be dancing. Then call Jake Asman. He got an orange wall.
What's up, guys? Game was embarrassing. Let's talk about my takes. Joke, absolute joke. The Jets are horrible. We played horrible today. This is an absolute joke. Aaron Glenn's like same old Jets. He's right. He's 10 times worse. Joke, absolute joke. This franchise continues to sink to new lows. Just when you think this team can't any worse, Jets are like, wait, hold my beer. Jets lost today 13-6 to the Panthers. Defense, okay, play good. You know why? Because the Panthers stink. They stink. They're horrible. Bryce Young is not an NFL quarterback. Dalton is the most mediocre NFL quarterback I've ever seen. He's horrible. Our offense today, horrible. Fields was sitting in the pocket for 7-8 seconds. Took a sack. You know, Aaron Glenn, he put Tyrod Taylor in. You know, Taylor played better. You know, Tyrod should start the rest of the year because he actually showed more potential than Justin Fields. And you know what? I agree with you. You know what? Aaron Glenn should be one and done coach. You know, people are like, oh, we're negative. No, we're just speaking the truth. You know, I'm normally like, give coaches 2-3 years to turn around. You know what? Glenn is the most clueless head coach I've ever seen. You know what he's good at? The moral victories. And you know, Glenn's like, look at the tape. You know what the tape's going to tell you, Aaron Glenn? You stink. And the Jets stink.
Hey, Mad Max. How many cups of coffee, how much Red Bull have you had today?
0. I'm just always
Really?
energetic, Jake. Yeah, I'm always energetic.
All right, can you give us an Aaron Glenn dance? You said you like his dancing.
Yeah, you know, I'm Aaron Glenn, and I suck at coaching. This is an Aaron Glenn dance.
What does your roommate think of your Aaron Glenn dance? Can you give him the phone and have him?
He's laughing so hard right now.
Give your roommate the phone right now and have him film you doing the Glenn dance. We need it, Mad Max.
Tell me to the Glenn dance.
How do I turn this? Hold on.
It'd be like, this is Aaron Glenn right now.
Okay, so I don't think it's.
Okay. Can you guys see me? Jake, can you see me do that?
Oh, yeah, we see it. We see it, Mad Max. Hey, what's your roommate's name?
Malachi.
Hey, Malachi, what's it like living with Mad Max?
It's actually awesome. He has a really great personality. Very lively, as you can see. But you know, yeah.
Does he ever just wake up and start going like a million miles per hour?
Not really. No.
Oh man.
All right. Well, Mad Max, great call, and shout out to your roommate Malachi as well.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Mad Max. Oh my God. All right. We all needed a little laugh there. Super chats. Then right back to your calls. Owen writes in, let's no stress as Jet fans. We have Jake. Always keeps us up and alive. I swear I love the show. Thank you. Hope we win 10 in a row. I do too, Owen. Thank you for the kind words. I don't see it. You know what's crazy? And I was thinking this sitting there watching this in person today. Still 10 games to go. Ugh. Now next week, we know they're not going to win, but we're going to have a good time at the watch party. Our only one, so make sure you RSVP. You're going to be saying, who would want to watch the Jets? Trust me, we'll have a good time. Beningo's going, by the way. I should have said this earlier. I'll talk to Joe about it tomorrow. So Joe B came to our tailgate today. I gave Joe a bag that Purple Belt Mike gave me. So I think Joe ended up wearing a bag on his head during this game today. But if you want to meet Joe B in person, he came by our tailgate today, took pictures with everyone. He'll be with us at the watch party next week. Him and the great Tommy Keenan are going to be coming. Shout out to you, Tommy. Tom D says, my God, this team sucks. I don't even know what I was expecting at this point. Look, we know this team is not like very good, right? Like when they fell to 0-3, it was like, oh man. But we didn't think they'd be like one of the worst Jets teams ever. And that is what they're on pace to do right now, right? Like the only other time in Jets history they started 0-7 was the Gase 2020 year and the Kotite 96 year where they won one game. Gase won 2, Kotite won 1. We're on that level. And I think I can't speak to the 96 team because I didn't watch it live. I know the history, but I didn't see it. The 2020 team compared to this team, it's not even close from a talent standpoint. This team is so much better roster-wise. It's a joke. Anthony in the house. Anthony Logerato says, Jake, it was great seeing you in the Asmaniacs today. I can officially say that this is worse than the Kotite era. Anthony, I believe you, man. Watching the end of that game with you and Roseanne and everyone. Horrible. Great to see you, though. I hope you had a good time regardless of the bleep show on the field. The tailgate was great. Thank you again, everyone who came to that. Tailgate Joe for hosting. Design Mind with a super chat. Woody's obsessed with coaches who talk a big game but don't have skills for being a great head coach. Needs to start looking at their coaching IQ first. Bowles might be the only exception with success in Tampa. And Bowles has improved too, and he has a real quarterback too. Hire a real proven coach. You don't need to project what they're going to be. Hire someone who's done it before. That's the whole point. These are not jobs for first-timers. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, he's got 13 points to make.
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's
Filling up the butane on my lighter so I could light my next cigar. Maybe my last. Maybe my last, Jake. Maybe my last. I just got done watching all the touchdowns that happened today in the NFL. They forgot. I didn't see any Jets on there. What happened?
I didn't see any last week either.
Right, they didn't get a
going on.
touchdown. Wait, I swear to God, they said all the touchdowns are going to be on TV. I saw every single one today, and each time it looked like a beautiful work of art. One day, very soon, we too will get a touchdown. I don't know what game it's going to come in. I think we better stop thinking about wins and thinking about maybe getting a touchdown. Maybe we'll cross the goal line somehow. A ball will bounce up in the air and we'll catch it. Anyhow, horrible. Just horrible, Jake. I'm sorry you had to go witness that in person. Thank God. This reminded me of your Jacksonville thing. The difference was it wasn't pouring rain. Right or wrong? This was a horrific of an offensive performance in that Jacksonville game.
It was that bad. I mean, this like the only difference is like that they were still playing for a lot that night. You know, they were still alive. Like Mike White got hurt, and if Zach had won one of the games against the Lions or that Jaguar game, like they were still in it. They had a chance. So that hurt way more than this. This is just like this just feels rudderless, hopeless, because the only thing you could have hope for is that Woody wakes up, and if this doesn't get better, he hires a real coach. He gets rid of Glenn, admits a mistake, and you bring in a real offensive guy for the first pick in the draft. That's all we have right now.
Yeah, well, just to let everybody know, and my feeling here is right now we're 0-7, and we feel like shit. Okay? Next week, go at the Bengals. The week after, we have a bye. Then we come back and lose to Cleveland. Guys, believe me when I tell you, you can't go 0-13 or 0-14 and win 2 or 3 games and say that this guy should survive another year. There's no possible way. I will tell you 3 more losses. Okay, I'm telling you, it gets worse and worse and worse. 3 more losses, and you all are going to look like me. The last time the Jets made the playoffs, you guys were talking earlier, I was in 10th grade. Jake, I was your age when it happened last. Think about that. I was your age, or maybe a little older, but that's the sin of it. So look out, guys. You may all look like me by the time the Jets win a playoff home game. Jake, that's all I got to say. No points.
It's a, I don't know what happened to my camera there. It's such a joke, man. This fan base is unbelievable. I met so many great listeners today. It's terrible. Terrible. I don't know. I don't know. It's worse in my lifetime rooting for this team because there was always something that could give you hope. There's nothing right now. There's no young quarterback we're seeing develop that you go through the growing pains with. There's no, great coaching masterclasses we're watching where, like, they're winning in spite of the quarterback and they just need to get the quarterback. Like, as rudderless as 2022 felt during that losing streak, we knew what the problem was. And just everything they've tried, it just doesn't work. But they keep, at the root of all of it, trying the same thing with inexperienced coaches that aren't equipped to do it. Can't do it. That's where it starts. And we haven't hit rock bottom yet. I'm telling you, it will continue to get worse, not better. Mad Team says if Tyrod played the second half last week and started today, they'd be on a 2-game winning streak. They definitely would have at least a win. I don't know if they would have won today if Tyrod started the whole game because without Garrett Wilson, this offense had nothing. But something tells me when we watch back the film on Fields, there probably were some guys open and he didn't pull the trigger. At least that's what it felt like watching from my seat. Felt like he was holding onto the ball again too long. I don't know. It's real bad right now. There's nothing to sugarcoat it with. This team is horrific. Like, they are very, very, very bad. Like, it's bad. More calls. Pred in Estonia is next. Hello, Pred.
Hello. Like a dodgy Chinese takeout on a Friday, New York Jets, weekend ruiners. I mean, what else is there to say? You know, the offense was about as useful as Stephen Hawking's treadmill after he died and before. You know, this was a horrific watch. Yet again.
What time is it in Estonia right now, Pred?
It's a wonderful 3:16 a.m.
So the game kicked off at what time today there?
So the game kicked off at 8 o'clock and it finished at 11. Actually, Sunday Night Football is about to kick off right about now. So,
That's
you know,
right.
maybe
Thanks for the reminder. I got to switch my TV right here.
maybe some good football to watch, you know, because the Jets certainly aren't giving us any good football. You know,
No. Watch Fernando Mendoza on Saturdays, or watch some of these quarterbacks if you want football
Like
related to the Jets at this point.
if any NFL team loses to this Aaron Glenn coach team, it's like losing a game of hide and seek to Helen Keller. Like, he's so lost. It's ridiculous. This is gonna get worse too. This is only gonna get worse, man. This is rough.
Yeah, look, I would tell you it gets better, Pred, but I know you haven't seen very many Jet seasons. I don't know. Maybe it's not too late to lead the Jets if you wanted to jump off.
No,
I wouldn't blame you.
it's I'm committed. I'm committed.
All right, Pred. Well, hang in there. All right. This week I'm going to be shipping out your signed Bart Scott jersey that you won all the way to Estonia, so you'll have that at least.
Something.
Ladies and gentlemen, our resident Jet fan in Estonia, Pred.
Justin's numbers are not good from this game. Is he going to be your quarterback next week, or would you consider?
Man, what kind of question is that?
I'm just laughing watching that back. Come on, what type of question is that? He's so butthurt and chapped over a legitimate question from Brian Costello about the quarterback spot, and then he benches the quarterback 2 quarters after that today in this game. Joke of a head coach. Sorry. Oh, give him more time. Okay, he gets more time. He gets the year. But I have the right to change my opinion based on new evidence. And I hope I can change my opinion for the positive because I am a Jet fan. but I don't see it. How could you? Dan writes in, we have as many wins as the head coach as Glenn combined. We all have as many wins as I see what you're saying. Yeah, we all have the same amount of wins as Aaron Glenn as a head coach. Yep. Higher John Gruden says rock bottom is if/when Glenn's retained. Agreed. And if it continues to look like this, then I agree. If they win some games now and show some competency, okay, maybe. But I don't want this coach who has no clue on quarterback evaluation, no clue on the position in general, no clue on the modern offense in the league, to be coaching Fernando Mendoza or Simpson or Nussmeier or Sellers or whoever. Ladies and gentlemen, here was Joe Beningo wearing a bag on his head today that I gave him. The bag was originally given to me by our very next caller.
Purple Belt Mike, he loves the dark night. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that Purple Belt Mike. Purple Belt Mike, it might be purple, but he can still kick your dirty ass.
Yeah, man, it's rough. It was funny. I put my bag on and I wore it the whole game, minus a couple times when I got a drink. But two people were kind of like making fun of me with the bag, and then after like the first couple drives, they're like, "Hey, man, you got a bag for me?" So I was like, "No, I have one for you." And they're like, "Oh man, this really sucks." I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen a lot of losses. I haven't seen a win in 5 years. Here we go."
How long did it take you to get home all the way out to steep Suffolk County after that?
Nearly 3 hours, and the 70% of the stadium was empty. I mean, you were there.
Yep.
I couldn't believe how long it took us with the stadium being so empty. And I got a new one for the Jets. It's Justin's every throw sucks.
Tough to argue. A remake on Just Endure the Suffering to
Yeah,
Justin's every throw sucks. Okay.
I said that after he overthrew that 5-yard out, and then I think he got benched after that. And I was like, man, Justin's every throw sucks. And my wife's brother was like, that's Jets. So yeah, or her dad. One of them said it next to me. It's unbelievable, man. It's never gonna get better too, because next year we have the hardest schedule in the NFL. I'm gonna be rocking with Aaron Glenn again. I want him done. His decisions, he went for it when we needed 3 points. Like, why didn't you kick the field goal? Could have changed the complexion of the game just to get some points and positivity. But I mean, nothing he does is right. It's always the wrong decision.
I mean, look, I can't argue with anything you're saying. I mean, I don't think he has any feel for the game. And for a guy who doesn't call offense or defense, that's supposed to be the whole job of him not being one of those play callers.
Aaron Glenn's got to go also, because he said he saw Justin Fields in Detroit for how many years, and he's like, oh yeah, that's the guy that I want as my quarterback. He sucked then, he sucks now. Your evaluation of quarterback sucks. Quite frankly, your defense also sucks. You gave up, I know they only gave up 13 points, but what was it, 4 fourth downs? Come on, man. We got to get stops there. But whatever. Is what it is. We need an offensive guy. Mike McCarthy. I can't believe I'm fighting for Mike McCarthy to be our head coach. But anyone with an offensive mind, we can't keep doing this.
This was my tweet on January 14th. Remember when the Jets didn't interview Mike McCarthy? I said, I'm not saying the Jets had to hire Mike McCarthy, but dismissing him because it'd be his third head coaching job while considering guys like Matt Nagy and Arthur Smith for their second is absurd. McCarthy's resume is far better than any experienced candidate they've interviewed so far. So once again, folks, they were too good to interview Mike McCarthy. Didn't even request him. That's what Woody Johnson was doing this offseason. Had to hire Aaron Glenn, not even give Mike McCarthy a legitimate interview.
Didn't Mike McCarthy draft Dak Prescott?
No, he didn't draft Dak.
I thought he drafted.
Well, he won 12 games 3 straight years with Dak when he was healthy. In his 5 years in Dallas, he won 12 games in 3 of them.
Yeah, it's unreal. But
well, hey, thanks for the bag today. It looked good on Beningo, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well, I got rid of that bag that I had, so maybe I'll have another one at some point. I don't know if I want to.
Hang in there, Mike. It was good to see you at the tailgate today.
It's good to see you and good to see everybody, man. Shout out to the Asmaniacs. The rest of the Jets, they suck. They shouldn't even charge us money to get in the tailgate. $50 to get into the tailgate. I mean, to get into the parking lot.
Yeah, the parking. It's insane.
They should have free parking.
half the people don't even want to go to the game because of the traffic and everything else. I
Yeah.
don't know,
Well, my
my dog's getting
recommendation.
pissed off.
I hear that. Mike, hang in there. We're all pissed.
JETS. Just. All right, let's go.
My advice to the Jets would be do something really nice these last remaining home games for your season ticket holders. Waive parking for some of these games. Give them free concessions. Really show your fans who are still showing up in the middle of an 0-7 season that people think could be 0-17 this year. Really show fan appreciation if you're smart. All right? The money you're losing is nothing compared to the future money you're losing when everyone stops renewing their tickets. You might be able to save some season ticket holders if you actually show them that you care about them. Because the season ticket holder experience is laughable compared to other teams around the league. You don't get any season ticket holder perks. Nothing. It's not like you're ever going to get a chance to buy face value for a playoff game. That will never happen. You got to win the division to do that. Right? But the season ticket holder gets just completely abused. Started with the PSLs. It gets worse every year. They didn't even give people free yearbooks mailed to them. You had to pick it up if you wanted a free yearbook. All these other teams around the league have all these perks. They send swag to their fans, send really cool gifts. The Jets do nothing. If my advice to the Jets would be really appreciate your existing season ticket holders. These final, 4 home games they have left? That might not be enough to save some people from pulling the plug, but it's a start. That's what I would do. If I ran a business, if I was Woody Johnson, I would start with that. Couple owners in New York sports get it. I think John Ledecky of the Islanders is the best of that. Fan relations. That, to me, is what you need if you're Woody Johnson right now. DP in the raffle for 2. Thank you, DP. Carlos Delamu says, hey, Jake, do you think it is all possible for the Jets to hire John Gruden next year? Can you imagine what he'd do with his offense? I trust the selection of a quarterback in this draft completely. Look, Gruden, I don't know if he's getting back in. I'm not saying you can't contemplate what it would look like. I'd be surprised, though, personally. Design Mind says, AG loses the team at this rate. Might be hard to risk injury in your career for this. Could argue the Jets wasted the best talent we've had in a while. They did, 100%. They had Garrett, Sauce, Priest, JJ. They had all these guys on rookie deals. They won shit with them. They already wasted that window. Now it's about, which ones are you keeping, which ones are you trading, who are you supplementing the roster with. They already wasted that window. They did. Not saying that they can't win with them eventually, right? Quinnen's still here. He's on his second contract, but, they wasted it, 100%. All right, more of your calls. If you're on hold, I guarantee you'll get on the air if you stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, this man famously said that Justin Fields would be headed to the Jet Ring of Honor. He flew all the way to London last week to watch the Jets. Yet, if he was there today, I didn't see him. JJ is next. Hello, JJ. Goodbye, JJ. Thank you. Paul is up next. Hello, Paul.
What's going on, Jake?
What's
Can
up,
you hear
Paul?
me all right?
Yes, sir.
I had to send in 5 memberships today because who the hell would want to get memberships, at least for you, yeah, but not being a Jet fan, right? So
Was that? Oh, you were PF69. The YouTube changed the username stuff in the chat.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't realize
guess-
it was you, Paul.
yeah, it was me. I guess that's
Thank
kind of
you,
why I
man.
said it. No worries. Least I could do for all the pain you suffer and I suffer. I'm just so happy I didn't get excited about the team this year and was like, you know what, Paul, don't even bother till there's a reason. But God, I didn't think they'd be this bad. And I do remember the coat tight era, and you would just sit there and what are they doing? And that's what we're doing right now. What are they doing? They're clueless. And you just look at the last 3 years, right? You just look at how everything has transpired. And there's sometimes we could say Joe Douglas overall failed, but yet he did get some talent here enough that it wasn't him being so bad, right? But yet this team I wonder if both Johnson brothers are sitting there haha, your pick sucked worse than my pick. Are they laughing at it, or do they give a crap? Because they both, one picked Salah when one picked Aaron, and they just don't understand that the last time we had any success was having a coach that already did the job. And until that happens, it's I got to watch teams like the Giants have these young, talented players come in and start to change turn the team around a little bit with energy. And like a great example, you brought it up earlier about Devontae Adams, right? He hasn't been doing that much this year, but then they lose their number one receiver. He gets 3 touchdowns today. Why? Because they improvise. They go to their best available players. They get them involved in the game. They find ways to get their talented players the ball. Why Breece Hall gets nothing? Like he hardly gets the ball at all. Still, it's baffling. Like they do not know how to coach, and we've all been saying it. And I can't help myself anymore. It's been too long, and I'm right again, and I'm just negative now. I'm not positive like I used to be, but I can't possibly be positive with what they've put in front of us and what we pay for, and what we have to I'm tired of the texts from my friends. Your team's your franchise is a joke. Your franchise is this, Jets, same old Jet. Like, I can't take it, man. Like, I want to be another fan somewhere, and I just can't do it, But, thank you. And hopefully I'll win the Garrett jersey because, like, he's one of the only players I feel that truly has heart. Like, he just shows it, And, I question some of the team, too, because, like, we have the talent, like you said, right? Like, we can't be this bad just coaching, too. Like, can somebody ever step up? So, like, is it all just the coaching, or maybe these guys are just so used to losing that you got to we got to just clean house. And I got one thing to look forward to. And God's honest, I'm actually rooting for 0-17. Let's make the history books again for some crap. I want to be the first 0-17 team, and they'll probably still keep the coach because they're inadequate.
If the Jets went 0-17, Paul, right? First team to ever do it.
Yeah.
Is that kind of a moral victory?
Well, yeah, for me, yeah, because it's like.
We might have to start selling moral victory t-shirts in the merch store. God. PBM, did Tannenbaum say he didn't interview Mike McCarthy? They didn't interview Mike McCarthy. I asked Mike about it at the Combine on the YouTube show, and we did the show from there, and he didn't give a real reason why they didn't talk to him, Carroll, Gruden. I wanted guys with previous head coaching experience. O'Shea says McCarthy inherited good teams. Can he really coach? I don't think you could look at the Cowboys and say they've ever been this great team, right? Like, they've had some good players. They have a good quarterback. McCarthy got Dak to play the best of his career. He's a proven coach, as is Kevin Stefanski, even if he got fired. By the way, Sunday Night Football, I just realized it's Saleh versus Obrick tonight. Few calls left, then we'll wrap. Pork in the Morning is next. Hey, Pork.
Hey, Jake. How you doing, my man? Another terrible, hurtful, painful, makes me want to drink game.
Yep.
But I didn't drink, so. It makes me want to drink because it's that terrible. I've seen bad teams. The 96 team is probably just like this team. I mean, but we have talent on this team, and it's wasted. And, I look at Glenn, and I could tell he doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on, bro.
No clue.
It just goes right over him. And then when he speaks and he talks to the media, like, don't even come out. Don't even give a fucking effort, because that's what it seems like. It doesn't seem like they want to win. I mean, like they want to play football at all. They go out there, and I know from the beginning, we're not going to score points. We're not going to score a touchdown. That's 2 straight games, 0 touchdowns. Did we even get inside the 20-yard line? I don't think so. It's just, we're not even respected by any team in the league. I'd go for it on 4th down every time. I wouldn't even care if I was inside our 10-yard line. We could that team will get it. It could be 4th and 19. Go for it. Why not? There'll be a stupid holding call, whatever, roughing the passer. It doesn't matter. Oh, we got a beautiful first down. And what did they call? Illegal shift, whatever, because two guys are moving at the same time, whatever. Alan Lazard, that jerk off, still on the team. But he's here, and for whatever reason, I don't know. We have other guys we could throw in there to give him a shot. Lazard's just there, to get a paycheck, whatever he's doing. Send him over with Rodgers. You left Rodgers go for no reason. Just to swing your dick around in the locker room saying, oh, this is my locker room. It's my locker room, Aaron. You ain't getting it. I'd be snickering from the back of the room, too. Look at that fucking joke of a man, joke of a coach that he is. I love Darren Glenn. I hate him now. I'm done. Damn it.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
Hang in there, Pork. I know what we all need. We need the expert opinion and breakdown of a man who lives in his attic year-round.
We're going to start out with $10 billion next year. The whole team needs a whole new goddamn re-amp. We need a re-amp. And I'm talking a whole new start. Justin Fields, he didn't look like he had any idea what he was doing. I don't know if his head was, how would he just play that song for him like Aaron was doing? Like, I suck. Yeah, no shit. He couldn't even throw the ball. He was too lazy. 8 seconds in the pocket. What did I fucking tell you last time? When you get the ball, 3 seconds. 3, not 8. 3. 3. Is this how mentally dumb this guy is? This guy is dumb. Been here, 5 years? He hasn't even done anything? Okay, sure. 4-2 with the Steelers. Okay, that's fine. Then he winds up with this crumb bum team, and now he comes here. We're seeing the same mess. This guy doesn't have it. He doesn't have no clue who he is. We signed $30 million to this piss ass, poor excuse, this jerk off. He has no clue who he is. He's a bum. He has no clue what he's doing. Lazy, cheap, not great, not so good. This guy's got to go. And Aaron Glenn, he's chicken to call my phone. He's too goddamn chicken to call my phone because he's yellow.
Hey, 25 wants to know how you thought Garrett Wilson played today.
He did fine, but I don't think he's good. I think what's going to have to come down to next year, we need new guys. And there's 2 new guys I've been doing some scouting on.
Hey, Beast, follow up, since I know you're wearing a Garrett Wilson shirt. You know, what did you think of his performance overall, though? Break it down for us.
He did very well. He jumped it. He did a few plays here and there. We're worried about what his health is going to be next year, because now we have to worry about next year now, because we
let's not worry about next year. Let's talk more about Garrett today. What was your favorite catch he made today?
He made a nice little grab, not too bad. But I also was also trying to get a hold of my freaking healthcare department, because I'm having a problem with my
Hey, I don't give a fuck about your healthcare. Tell me more about Garrett Wilson.
Well, thank you very much for that, Mr. Fondarelli.
Tell me about Garrett Wilson's performance today. What excited you about it?
He did something that could, that surprised me, but it's just, I like what he could bring to the table, but I don't think Justin Fields is going to be around much longer. Tyrod Taylor should be playing next week.
Hey, but what about Garrett Wilson, though? Do you think he should play next week?
Let's see how he feels first, because we don't. If he goes out there and blows out his knee, then we're really going to have to start thinking very.
But he played today, so why wouldn't he play next week if he played today?
We have to. We don't want to blow things out of proportion. Take it one day at a time.
Hey, Beast, can I tell you something very important?
I've already had my heart rate up. I already had my heart rate up near the 210 mark today.
Okay, well, this will definitely give you a heart attack when you learn that Garrett Wilson didn't play, you fat bastard. Don't call into a Jet show talking about Garrett Wilson when he didn't play in the game today. He was out. You didn't watch the game. Moron. How dare you waste the audience time with that nonsense? Garrett Wilson did not play today, Beast, and maybe if you watch highlights from the game on YouTube, you'll see that. Continue with your calls before we wrap the show. Chuck Wagon is next. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, I kind of figured the team was screwed when in the first quarter when they go for it on 4th and 5 instead of kicking the field goal. I pretty much shook my head and was like, yep, I kind of have a feeling it's not going to be a good game. Also, Bryce Young, before the game, was 1-15 on the road. Now he's 2-15.
And he wasn't even good today, too. I was so unimpressed watching Bryce Young. Yeah, I was very unimpressed.
It's so sad that 2-15 and one of them is against us. The only good thing about this is I am rooting for you. I'm really rooting for you in your survivor pool.
I'm in trouble in a few weeks, though, because when they start playing division opponents the second time, I'm going to have to pick a team that's not playing the Jets that week.
I find it hard to believe that it's still going on and you haven't won the thing, unless there's like 1,000 people in the pool. I'm really rooting for you. I know I haven't told you this before, but I used to be a season ticket holder. Obviously, as you can tell, I didn't do it this year. But I just mostly is because one of money reasons, but two, it's about a 3-hour drive one way for me. So I just thought the juice wasn't worth the squeeze anymore, and I just don't know how I would have been able to go to these games if I was still a holder.
Yeah, look, Chuck, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame anyone who doesn't renew. I know a lot of people didn't this past year, and now if they have the first pick in the draft and retain this staff, you really want to go watch the Jets next year ruin the first pick in the draft?
No, absolutely not.
I don't.
I had some great memories the last 2 years. I took my nephew to his first game, my niece to her first game, my stepfather to his very first game. My late father and I, many years ago, we went to the Jets and Colts playoff game when the Jets beat the Colts 41-0. That was my father's first and only game. And he said going to an NFL game was one of the best experiences he's ever had in his life. And I'm just so glad my father's not here to see this. He was never a sports fan of any kind. He never rooted for anybody. But he was always proud of me because he knew how bad the Jets were for many years. And he one time said he was proud, very proud that I never gave up on them and everything. So it's just hard to see the games now. It really is.
Yeah, Chuck, hang in there, man. I feel your pain, and being a Jet fan's not easy because there's no such thing as a bandwagon Jet fan. And the one thing you could say, if you are a Jet fan, you're loyal. All right, hang in there, Chuck. Spencer Green says, "Beast, did you make that picture for me?" I'm not sure what picture this is referring to, but I'm sure Beast is mad about it. Robin Boyer says, "Can Beast name either of the Panthers quarterbacks today to prove we should even pay attention to his world-class analysis? Put me in the raffle, please." Beast, can you name the quarterbacks for the Panthers today?
I'm done. I don't even want to talk right now. You already upset me after today.
So I upset you for informing you that Garrett Wilson didn't play in the game.
So, beat it.
I'm not going anywhere. It's my show. See ya. You're the one who left. Fat boy. Robin Boy says, "Can Beast..." No, I already read that one. All right. Okay. Australian Jets fan is next. Hello, AJF.
I just wanted to show you my new jersey. I don't know if you can see it. But,
Losses 7. What are you going to do next week? You got a Rodgers jersey?
No, you know what my only other jersey is, and I don't want to talk about that either. But I honestly felt nauseous the whole day. I still don't feel well. I don't know why Like, I got up at 3:30 a.m. for the second week in a row to watch the Jets. And honestly, like, I don't even want to blame Fields because I saw Tyrod Taylor come into the game and it made no difference. Like, and if you want to say it made a difference, it was so slight. I just genuinely think that the coaching is so bad. Whoever you put in that quarterback position is going to look bad. And I'm not saying Fields is a good football player. I'm just saying that I think that the Jets coaching has just been so bad that no matter who you put there, they're going to find a way to mess it up. Aaron Glenn.
Well, especially with the lack of outside receiving threat in a game like today. If you had Garrett Wilson today, you would have more of a chance in this low scoring type. You needed a touchdown to win today. That's all. That's what it came down to. Garrett at least would give you a chance on some of these.
I mean, I agree. And, but, we didn't have him. And also, like, I sit here and think, Aaron Glenn came in and was talking about how, we want to win now. And even though he obviously thought Rodgers wasn't the way to win, he said he wanted to win and he brought in Justin Fields. But if you were wanting to win and you viewed Fields as a better option than Rodgers, why would you still not keep Devontae Adams? You know what I mean? And choose to have Josh Reynolds as your second wide receiver. Like, none of this made sense. I don't have any hope because you look at what Aaron Glenn has done. Nothing he has done has been good. Nothing he has done gives you any sort of hope or anything to look at and think, oh, gee, he has potential, because he has shown no potential at all.
No, I mean, look, I can't tell you one thing Aaron Glenn does well right now, AJF. Good call. The fact that you're a Wizards and a Jet fan is like mind-boggling. God bless. Knicks start Wednesday. Thank God. I mean, it's unbelievable. What could be said? I don't even know. Robin, I do have you in the raffle. Let me say this. Last chance to get in the raffle today. If you want a chance to win a Garrett Wilson rivalry jersey, you can gift the membership. We haven't had a ton of memberships gifted today because the chat is rightfully somber. So I'm going to gift some right now. I'm going to gift 5 to the community because you guys make it possible to have my job year round, talking about a bad football team. So thank you for that. I just gifted 5 channel memberships. So if you get one, I'm going to put you in the raffle for the Garrett jersey here and our weekly raffle on Tuesday, which features a Jermaine Johnson signed jersey, Wayne Corbett signed jersey, and a Joe Namath signed jersey. Or Joe Namath signed helmet, Corbett, football, and JJ jersey. Can't speak. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 memberships have been gifted. Let's give people a good laugh. We could use it. Hit it, Colin.
And Jet fans are clueless. I mean, they're dopes. They don't know anything. This is a really good hire. Gase is a great coach. Okay, Adam Gase is Kyle Shanahan before Kyle Shanahan. Gase is a great coach.
All right, the following 5 are now channel members and in the raffle: Bob P., Rick Lima, DBZ, JC, D Smalls, and Mongo Horse Punch, all receiving a channel membership. You get a free super chat every month, badge next to your name, members only content, and more. Mike Dems in the raffle for 1. Thank you, Mike. He gifted the community a membership. Brandon the H received that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time to hear from the great David T.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, David.
Nick's on my mother's birthday, so we're thinking positive. Once a Jet fan, always a Jet fan, and till I die, and who knows, maybe beyond. And thank God for the Jake Asman show. As far as the season ticket thing, I really feel, from what you guys are saying, really feel sorry for the season ticket holders for the Jets. I mean, when I was up in PA, we have a single A hockey team, and I was a season ticket holder, and they treated you like a king. And now I'm down in Florida, and we have the because it's close to my home, the Phillies single A, and I have a season ticket, and they treat you like a king. I mean, hey, they should want your business and keep it stable and everything. As far as the Jets, my thing is I don't think they should trade anybody. I think they should give Aaron Glenn the year, and like your buddy was saying, I'm a little afraid at the end of the year, no matter what has happened, that Woody's so hard-headed that he's going to give him another year. If he doesn't improve and get better and all that stuff.
Yeah, look, I agree. It's tough to justify a second year if you are the worst team in the NFL with this team, David. It just is. Not when you're taking a quarterback who your only chance of succeeding with that quarterback you spend the number one pick in the draft on is developing him and putting him in the best possible situation to succeed. I don't think Aaron Glenn's that guy if you're this bad in year one. You don't get a second year if you're this bad. You shouldn't be this bad. That's the whole point.
Right. And my take on it is, Aaron, you said Aaron Glenn, Muji answers to Aaron Glenn, and would you put the pick of a quarterback in Aaron Glenn's hands?
I would not. And look, Muji, I'm sure will have input, will have a say, but any big decision that this franchise makes, the head coach is the one who's signing off on it, because never forget, folks, what Woody Johnson said at the introductory press conference for Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji. He referred to Muji as Glenn's sidekick. This is Glenn's team, for better or worse. So we have he's the face of it, right? Like with the Jets previously, it was some Salah blame here, some Douglas, right? But Glenn has total power. He has authority, and ultimately will live and die with his decision making. And I'm not dying with it after a 1-win season where they have the first pick in the draft. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's too risky.
Oh my God, Jake, and here again, don't want to get into the Aaron Rodgers thing and the coach that's been there and done that, but when it comes to that point in time at the end of the year, I just hope that the owner makes a right decision.
I hope so, David. I hope so. Maybe one day we'll actually get to experience a fun show. Until then, we'll play this.
I'm gonna do my silly dance, cause we're built like shit. What kind of a question is that? We have the moral victories. My team has no wins. No wins.
Now that, my friends, is a great bit.
Nobody gives a shit.
Thank you. Now that is
Nobody gives a shit.
Nobody cares.
Nobody gives a shit.
F that.
You could kiss my big, big ass. Woo!
You wonder why I got a lot.
I am not a meatball.
All right. Couple membership shout outs. Mike Dems in the raffle for 1. Johnny Bobani in the Asmaniac raffle for 5.
I got gas right now. Oh.
Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Again, thanks to everyone who came to our tailgate today. For those tuning in late, we'll talk more about the tailgate and some of the funny stories and things that happen at the game during our normal shows this week. It's just, this is post-game therapy as usual. Great to see so many people. Big Cho in the house, Beningo with a bag on his head. He'll be on with us tomorrow at 10. Saw so many great people today. It's tough, man. It really is tough doing these shows. Just the losing is just, I can't take it anymore. I really can't. And it's crazy too, because they started 2-1 last year, right? So the Jets are 3-18 since they started 2-1, or 3-17. It's like this is the luck watching the game. Like I don't even emote anymore. I just kind of sit there or stood there. I didn't even move. Jets Worldwide writes in, great tailgate with awesome people. Crap game. Put my raffle tickets in for Rich. I really don't like the rivalry jerseys personally. Snowball, that's very nice of you. We got you down for 2. If you win, we'll give it to Rich. Man, I just pretty defeated. Pretty defeated, no doubt. All right, I'm putting together the raffle names, so we will do the raffle. Last chance to get your super chat read here on the show. We'll spin the wheel of champions. Reminder, Tuesday will be our regular weekly raffle series. I'm going to keep doing those. We're approaching the 1-year anniversary of that, which is a testament to the community. We've been able to keep it going for that long, which is great. Before we get out of here, though, I do have some stats from today's game that I'll share. Ready? Hold on. NFL, ESPN Research sent me some numbers here. Warning, it's ugly. That's how bad things are for the Jets right now. Where is this? It's not loading. NFL recap. All right. Brace yourselves. Jets' third 0-7 start in franchise history. Started 0-8 in 96, 0-13 in 2020. 0-2 this season when holding teams to under 14 points. The rest of the league, wow. This is the most damning stat ever. The Jets are now 0-2 this year when holding teams to under 14 points. The rest of the NFL is 35-1 in those games. It is an offensive sport. An offensive league. And the Jets have held teams to under 14 points 2 straight games, and the rest of the league is 35-1 in those scenarios, and the Jets are 0-2. Second team in the last 10 years to lose back-to-back games, allowing fewer than 14 points in both games. Jets scored 1 touchdown first 3 quarters in last 6 games combined, outscored 123-39 in the first 3 quarters in those games. That's a minus 14 point per game differential. Jets 2 turnovers, 0 takeaways forced, 1 turnover this season, fewest by any team through 7 games all time. Only other team with 2 or fewer is the 2021 Jaguars. Justin Fields pulled after going 6 of 12 for 46 yards with 3 sacks. Only quarterback in the last 2 seasons to go back-to-back starts with less than 4 yards per attempt. Remember Justin Fields was going to air it out this week? Beastbreaker says, I'm pissed off and I hate how the show treats me. I get nothing. Beast, you called in to talk about the Jets. We exposed the fact you didn't watch the game because you were talking about Garrett Wilson having a good game today. So don't be upset that people in the comment section are going to make fun of you for that. Accept that. You screwed up. Own it. Say you didn't watch the game. Say you had to get your healthcare situation figured out or whatever fakakta excuse you want to come up with. And just say, hey, I didn't watch. I love the show, but I didn't watch. That's all you have to say. Instead, you could try and lie that you watched the game and you didn't. I mean, come on. Enough said. On that note, who's ready to spin the wheel of champions? I am.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Gentlemen, I present to you the Wheel of Champions. Music, please. All right, good luck to everyone. Only one can win. But if you don't win, you might win Tuesday in our weekly raffle for the 3 signed items we'll give away during our first show with Mr. Sabo. Again, good luck, and thank you to everyone who supports the show. Thank you to Fanatics for sponsoring our giveaway of the Garrett Wilson rivalry jersey. If you win, email me your name, your address, your size, so I can pass it forward to Fanatics, and we can get that jersey sent out to you. Again, thanks to everyone for your support. You're a winner of a Garrett Wilson rivalry jersey is hell yeah, the Great Dark Knight, Steve. Steve, you're the man. Well deserved. He's the winner of the jersey. Hit the Jet chant for Steve, one of the real great Jet fans out there. Shout out to you, Dark Knight Steve. Congratulations. Again, blown away by this community. Incredibly rewarding that we could bring everyone together to watch an 0-7 football team. If this team's ever good, imagine what it will look like. Imagine. Man. Again, thank you all for watching this show. Thank you to everyone who was out at MetLife today, everyone who was there in spirit as well. We are all in this together. We'll be back tomorrow morning to commiserate. Beningo's the guest at 10 a.m. And a new week of content will begin. We do have our watch party, though, for next week's Jets and the Bengals game. You might be saying a watch party to watch the Jets. No, it's a watch party to hang out with the best community in all sports. The game is secondary. We're going to have fun. We're going to drink beer and different cocktails and eat good food. Goldies Tavern's a great spot. We'll have a halftime raffle, and it's going to be a great time, I promise. So, again, thank you to everyone. Go Jets, I guess. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Please RSVP to the watch party. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. If you haven't already, the information to RSVP is in the live chat, and it is in the description. Thank you all. Go Jets. And I leave you with a clip that needs to be played after a day like today. Take it away, Aaron Glenn.
I'm gonna do my silly dance, cause we're built like shit. What kind of a question is that? We have the moral victories. My team has no wins. No wins.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.